half of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is in the books, and now it's a chance to regroup, rethink and reanalyze where we are in this championship. Martin Kroenke has done something that no one has been able to do since 2011, get to this middle portion of the season as the championship leader. Gregor Huttu isn't that far behind, but realistically, we're now looking at a three-horse race, with Kroenke, Huttu and Olli Pakala looking as though they will be the ones fighting for a championship. Now, we go to iRacing's newest track, the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari, better known of course as Imola. This track has been a fixture of motor racing for years, as we welcome you now to qualifying here on RaceSpot TV, streaming live on iRacing Live as qualifying is already underway. 10 minutes these drivers have to go as fast as they absolutely possibly can. You can see Kroenke has already set himself a time. 1 minute 18.102. Andre Borcha along in second place. No one else has yet set themselves qualifying time as Wolverton. Rachel Whiteford here, welcome you to the RaceSpot TV booth. We're on board then with the driver of Gregor Huttu. He exits Tosa, working himself now down towards Piratella, turn number 8. And Rachel, what we know about this track is it's fast. What we also know about this track is that qualifying is going to be critically important, especially as you've got that very long straightaway from turn 15 through to turn number 2, which means that we're likely going to see a lot of DRS trains today.
Good afternoon. Well, we certainly are. It's a tight track here. Passing's going to be very hard with these corners being slower speed than some would expect, so these guys are going to have to be on top of their game. Qualifying will be everything. Expect drivers to make up 1 or 2, 3 spots, but passing groups of cars, it's going to be impossible almost. So get what you can whilst you can, and the track is clear, so try and get as close to the front as you can possibly manage. Gregor Huttu, I believe he's about to start a lap, Will.
Yeah, indeed. There we are. Gregor Huttu then. He is now on to a flyer. We can see Mitchell de Jong starting a lap as well. There you can see de Jong then in the VRS Carandis Sports machine. Now, Antoine Hegelin has set himself a qualifying time. Got a couple of people on hot laps right now. That includes this driver, Olli Pakala, who just exits the Acqua Minerale corner, now down into the Variante Alta. This is a very difficult chicane. You can see there that you've got the 2-stage curbs. If you get it horribly wrong, there is a concrete wall on your right-hand side, which you can then end yourself into. But Pakala, let's ride on board of him. On the run then, down through Rivata. There's Rivata 1, there's Rivata 2, and now you're flat out, all the way to the start finish line. New pit exit on the right hand side. This is where you used to have the Variante Bassa, doesn't exist anymore. Olli Pakala then does himself, he doesn't actually do himself a lap, he's heading himself onto one now. I take that one back. Andre Borcha, you can see more times coming up in your screen. We're going to go back to Gregor Huttu. We're going to go on board of him once again, as he now works himself back in towards Rivata once again. So it's Kroenke, Borcha, Preston. Good qualifying by Preston and by Carroll there. 2 Apex Racing drivers. Yuta Saito in 5th, then Oliveira, Kolak and Meglek. They are your top 8. Gregor Huttu then crosses the start-finish line. Where's he going to go? It's only P5 for Mr. 5-time. Yuta Saito, we talked about, he's up into 6th place. Olli Pakala then. We need to turn our attention to him and also Mitchell de Jong. De Jong upsets Huttu for the time being. De Jong's up into P number 5. That moves Huttu down into 6th. And now it's all eyes on Olli Pakala, Rachel.
It certainly is. Of course, Olli Pakala, we've been told before this race, he's actually running today using the Oculus Rift VR system, so could certainly be something of an edge for Olli, Will, because he's going to have an easier chance of time of visibility, but looking at his mirrors slightly easier. You can look around, judge distances to other cars, slightly better than you might if he was using triple screens. So, could see some interesting racing from him, keep an eye on that one, but what to say, Will, Andre Borcha, second at the moment, provisionally. Incredible time from the VRS Coanda driver. That's the closest we've seen him to the front of the grid in a long time.
Indeed so. So it looks as though Coanda definitely have got themselves set up here at Imola. Mo Garfilo works himself then past the start-finish line. What's he going to do? Well, he's going to put himself onto a lap now. A lot of people waiting till late to get themselves laps done. Olli Pakala can see he is on track, and that is the section down at Piatella. No, it's not. That's the exit of Rivata. There we are. We're back on board of him. So we need to know where Pakala can go third place in the championship and get front row. This will be very good for him. He crosses the start-finish line, and Olli Pakala is doing nowhere in this event. He's struggling big time in qualifying. Graham Carroll, though, is having a fantastic day. Here's the thing, Rachel. You've got yourselves 3 Apex Racing UK drivers in the top 5. Berriman in 3rd, Preston in 4th, Carroll in 5th.
Certainly is an interesting development for them. We've been talking about their qualifying improving well. This is a sure sign of that. Technical track, and wow, he does seem to succeed. They had a great qualifying last time out, let's not forget, at Montreal. Another tough technical racetrack. So looks like Apex have certainly got the suspension on this car absolutely dialed in. Doesn't look like we can say the same thing for Team Redline.
Indeed. Redline seem to be struggling badly right now. And I always say, this is a series about momentum. Alex Simpson, actually, he is the one driver struggling in an Apex Racing UK driver, but that's because he's not actually set a lap time yet. There we can see Alex Simpson in that 05 machine. That is on the exit now of the Variante Alta, heading himself down towards the Rivazza. Double Apex, double cornered, turn 14, turn number 15. We want to turn our attention then back to Gregor Hutu because he is on another lap. He's on the exit now of the Aqua Minerale, turn 9, turn 10, before you come down into that chicane. It does seem to be, Rachel, that people are struggling down at 9 and 10 and also at 11 and 12.
Yeah, they certainly are, Will, and that Variante Alta, that chicane, that third chicane on the racetrack, that is the toughest corner on this racetrack. Not easy to see on the cameras, but those curbs are huge. The top of them is almost castellated. It's very disruptive to the car, and we might see some issues happening at the Variante Alta today. Turn 11, turn 12, really tough, but so is coming out of the Aqua Minerale, or Minerale. I'll get that one right by the end of the broadcast, I promise. That's a very tough section there at the top of the racetrack. What this doesn't really show, huge elevation change here, and those corners are really in the midst of that.
You saw Hutu moves himself up to P4. Yoni Tomara is now into P number 5. Graham Carroll is on a lap. We ride on board of him for a moment. Peter Berriman is on a lap as well. But you can see Berriman is further back on the racetrack. So we're going to turn back then for the moment to one of the 3 Apex Racing drivers inside your top 10. Here is Graham Carroll down into Rivazza, riding on board of him for the remainder of this lap. His last lap time that he set in qualifying was a 118.6. A 118.4 will get him past into that second row of the grid, and it's a 118.4 for him. Does he get the
Will Simpson here?
It's P5. It's P5 for him then. So he now moves himself up into 5th place. Alex Simpson has not actually done himself a qualifying time as of yet. But we now need to go back to Peter Berriman. What a run it's been for him so far. Running P number 3 in qualifying. Can he improve it in the final stage of the qualifying? The answer is going to be no. Nothing for him. Alex Simpson does set himself a lap time, 120.299. We've got 2 people yet to qualify. They are Paul Ilbrink and Robin Friscops. And, well, Ilbrink, down in P number 29, this is not what he's used to, Rachel.
Certainly not, Will, and wow, Robin Friscops also having a very lumpy lap at the moment. If this is his timed one, not going to be spectacular. Paul Ilbrink coming around. Final 2 corners here to complete what will be his timed lap. We will see what he can put out here, but it'll be an interesting one if we see if this is a timed or onto the timed lap.
Should be on.
See as he comes across the line now. This is onto the timed lap, you're right, so we'll see what Paul Ilbrink can do on this one. He has to be perfect now. Oh, and that lumpy lap by Robin Friscops was, I believe, yeah, it was a 119.7, so good enough for second to last place there, 28th on the grid. Not what he'd like. We'll focus on Paul.
Indeed. So Paul Ilbrink then is the main driver who we need to turn it to. And actually, no, we have got Kazuki Yamashima. He is on a lap himself right now. He's on the exit of Aqua Minerale. Now, that short little straightaway down to the 3rd chicane, the Variante Alta. Let's listen in. All over the curbs there for Kazuki Yamashima. You can see that car. You can hear that car just bottoming out as a consequence. Up to 180, 90 miles an hour as he now comes down into Rivazza. Just a couple of corners now left for him to go. This is its final lap in qualifying. Running in P number 24 right now. Isaac Kreis in 23rd. He's having a tough little day as well. Yamashima across the start-finish line. What can he do here today? The answer's going to be he moves himself up into P number 11. So good job by him. Now, Isaac Price, what can he do? The answer, he's going to look as though he might remain. In fact, no, he's heading himself towards Ravata. So he should have himself one more lap to try and go
Ilbrink
faster.
aborted.
Ilbrink's not going to be able to do it then. So Ilbrink, P number 30 only for him. But Isaac Price then, crossing the start-finish line. He's now onto his final lap in qualifying. And Rachel, Price really wants to be inside your top 15.
He certainly does, and I think he's aborting this one as well. He's got a time in there. It's good for 30th, which is good enough for the race, but starting last there for Paul Ilbrink with the Radicals Online, that is not what we expect from him in terms of pace. Very unusual from those guys.
Yep, so Isaac Price, we stay on board of him then as he ends himself through Tosa, turn number 7. Picking up the pace now once again. We'll get that speed graphic up for you. You can see very high speed here. Very high speed as he works himself down into Piratella, turn number 8, and then down the hill into Acqua Minerale. Let's listen. You can see you barely got off the gas at all through 9 before you slow it down, and Isaac Price has to abort there. He runs wide. That's his qualifying done for him. Dion Verges crosses the start-finish line, and just to add insult to injury, he moves himself then up ahead of Isaac Price. But qualifying today will go to the driver of Martin Cronkite. That qualifying checkered flag will come out in just 1 moment's time. So, let's have a look at your official starting grid for this round number 9 of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. There we are. Martin Cronkite leading the championship and dominating in qualifying by a quarter of a second over Andre Borcher. It's a VRS co-added SimSports lockout on the front row of the grid. That is one of the best results we have seen from Andre Borcher in quite some time. Then Peter Berriman in third. Great qualifying by the number 69 machine. Then you got yourself Hooter in fourth, Graham Carroll in fifth. And it's worth noting, there's 2 Team Redline drivers inside the top 10, but only 1 inside the top 5. NX Racing's Yoni Tormana in P number 6, Riley Preston for Orion. What a day by him, he's in P number 7. Then Mitchell de Jong, Martin Piatella, and Alexi Usiokola round out your top 10. Cycle on back, Umashima struggled in qualifying, we expect him to be fast in the race. Hapala in 12th, Ollie Pakala all the way down in P13, Marinus Kolak in 14th, and Yuta Saito rounding out your top 15. Couple of people to note as we go back in your grid. We had ourselves Paul Ilbrink, he was 8 seconds. You know what, if there was a 107% rule, he would have missed the cut. Everyone else was within 1.7 seconds of pole position. Couple of people towards the rear of the field like Isaac Price we talked about. He struggled, Alex Simpson struggled as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we have got ourselves the 24 Hours of Le Mans going on as we speak. But you know that iRacing is bringing Le Mans very, very soon. Here is a sneak peek of what's ahead.
First time going to Le Mans, a lot of people were talking to me and they said it's something different, and I always had to get used to new racetracks, and I never had a problem. It was always quite easy to adapt, and so when I went to Le Mans I thought that's just another racetrack, you know, what are they talking about? Going out there first time, it was really something very special, and I realized in the first few laps, they are right, that's something different. Le Mans is so fast. Wherever you accelerate, especially with a prototype, you are over, let's say, 150 miles per hour. So whatever corner you exit, you just push the throttle twice, you shift up, bam, 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 300 Ks. Going there, I realized everything you have done before was nothing. Le Mans was always our biggest event in the year, and with Audi we were quite successful, of course. We won Le Mans 5 times with Emmanuel Pirot, Tom Christensen and Marco Werner. We actually had the first Audi win in 2000, and then 2001, 2002 with our good old R8. And then later on we also had the first TDI diesel wins. I was always interested in racing games. We were looking for something where you have a big community and you can do races day and night. And we found this with iRacing. It's really, really impressive and it's a lot of fun. So whenever I'm at home, I'm with the guys and we try to work on the setups and that's the funny thing. It's like real life, you know. You cannot just jump in and play around. I mean, you can do, but there's no chance to win a race or to be competitive. So you have to work on the setups. I mean, for some people it might sound a little strange for a race driver being in real race cars end-to-end. Working with this simulation is very, very, very similar. It's very, very close to reality. That's why it's so much fun. And wherever I go with iRacing, I really feel like on the real track. All the details, the line, the bumps, it's very, very similar. I'll give you an example, Sebring, turn 1. There is a stupid bump at the exit of the corner. That's the same thing in iRacing. So you have to get things right, and if you hit this bump wrong, you're off. Yeah? It's a big, big help. It's a big help. I mean, when I did my first race at the Nordschleife, when I was, I don't know, around 2021 with Bernd Schneider and Manuel Reuter, we were the Ford youngsters. So we had to do the 24-hour race at Nürburgring. And I remember it took us around 30-40 laps to know it's left or right, and another 30-40 laps to feel confident and going fast. And you can imagine another 20-30 laps to be really at the limit. Yeah? So in total, let's say you do something around 80 or 100 laps out there with a real car. If you learn the track on the computer, on the PC, with iRacing, you know 100% what's going on out there. I wish we had these possibilities when I was starting my career, you know. It's great, really great. Le Mans, going there, you have to be really careful, and you always have to have in mind that the average speed is so high. You go on the straight, you back off, you feel slow, but you still have 270 on the tackle. Yeah. As iRacing in a simulation, also there I'm pretty sure you will feel that it is different to other tracks. You will also find it very difficult to find a good braking point. Yeah, your reaction has to be much better, because you have to get it spot on, otherwise you just go straight, or you are much too slow in the corner, so that's a big difference. Le Mans is very impressive, no matter whether you are in a real car or just on the PC doing it in a simulation. And I'm really looking forward to being a nice prototype again. I doubt that I can do 5 wins in Le Mans with iRacing. The young aliens, they will kill us out there, there's no doubt. The community I'm with, it's MSP Drivers Home. Bunch of people, really, really funny guys, good friends, and very, very enthusiastic. Big Audi fans. We are doing our races together in iRacing. That's a cool thing. Actually, when I do this long distance races, endurance races in iRacing, I kind of feel the same pressure like in a real team, you know, because somehow you feel responsible for the other guys, you know. They are sitting there in front of the screen trying to do a good job, and then you go in and maybe you have done 2-3 hours, and then you go in and you the race, you know. That's a bad feeling, I tell you. I mean, it's not as expensive as it is in real life, but it's unbelievable how, with everything, with the driving, with the pressure you feel, with all the emotions, it's very impressive how close you come to real life, let's say. Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to coverage of the 9th round of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. Let's go right ahead and look at a lap on board with Mr. Martin Kroenke, who gets himself pole position for this event. This is the very fast turn 1 section. Now you come down into the Tamburello chicane, of course the site of the 1994 accident for Ayrton Senna. Exit, use these low curbs. You have to abuse the low curbs here at Imola. Now you come down into Villeneuve. It's a very fast left-hand flick. Slow it down for the second part. Then it's a short straightaway before you come down into Tosa, the slowest corner on the racetrack. Get yourself a good exit out of here. Now you pick up the pressure as you've got yourself a little kink before you come down into turn number 8. Priatella. It's a sweeping left-hander, which got a second exit, really, you can see, dancing down the hill. Now into Acqua Minerale. Barely get off the throttle for the first part, slow it down for the second, then you've got to get yourself a good run as you go from downhill to uphill. Now, a little bit of an incline into the Variante Alta. Expect to see some drama at this corner throughout the course of this event. Now you push it. You push it all the way down the hill before you come into 13-14. This is the Ravazza double apex left-hander. Slow it down for the first part. It's enough of a little straight to just go up a gear before you try and come down again. This is where the Variante Bassa used to be. Pit entry on your right-hand side. Sling it towards the start-finish line. That is a lap from Martin Kroenke, who gets pole position here today. And that is an important thing. Because, Rachel, I said at the top of this broadcast that since 2011, there's never really been a situation like this. Now Martin Kroenke has a shot to really take command of this championship. If he wins here today and Hootie doesn't get a podium, then we are considering having Martin Kroenke as your championship favourite.
It's certainly looking that way, Will. Of course, Martin Kroenke in a great position right now. He's come off the back of some really stout performances. Of course, Gregor Hootie did win at Watkins Glen, but well, we saw a commanding performance at Montreal. That is a technical track. Imola is a technical track. Expect Martin Kroenke to be a firm favourite here today. Coanda have the right car underneath them for these sort of tracks. This should be a really telling race. Barring any issues, it's going to be great. Of course, the first couple of corners are troublesome, so everybody will have to watch out.
Mitchell de Jong, Martin Piatella. Interesting to see that some of the Coanda guys have nailed it, some others not so much. And it is worth noting, Rachel, that you've got to put yourself into a position as a team to work together at this stage of the season. It does look as though that Coanda, Kroenke and Borcha have got very similar driving styles, and we can see that. De Jong, of course, yeah, he's not able to be as active with his real-life racing commitment. Piatella, still qualifying in the top 10. We expect him to be anywhere between P5 and P10, naturally. But Coanda overall, still doing a good job. And I think that teamwork is what's going to put them above Redline. Because, yeah, you've got Hootie, you've got Alexei Siakola, you've got yourself Olli Pakala. But I know for a fact you've got 3 very different driving styles at Redline. That makes it a lot harder when you get to setup building.
It certainly does, and that's obviously an advantage that Coanda have, Will. And I think that's going to be a major factor for them, but at the same time, they have really found something recently, and to see Andre Borcha up there for Coanda, after really running around the bottom end of the top 10 for a season and a half, this is an impressive turnaround. We saw them struggle at the start of the season. They have worked out this car, and I think that is really showing now. They're going to be really hard to beat. If Borcha can stay with Kroenke at the start of this race, Berryman can stay ahead of Hootie. Of course, we know Gregor Hootie is a king of starting races. We saw his launch at Montreal. Incredible start by him. If these 3 can stay ahead of him for the first couple of corners, he's going to be in a really, really bad position.
And the key thing in that is you've got to make sure that if you're the 2 Coanda drivers, you don't get past in the first couple of laps. Because I think Borcha is going to play the role of Eddie Irvine, 1997 at Suzuka, just having to be that rear gunner to allow Kroenke to stretch his legs. There we can actually see Gregor Hootie. He had a bit of a miserable qualifying session here today. We're going to ride a couple of corners on board of him. This is him working himself down into Ravazza. It just seemed to be that the car wasn't hooked up on those low curbs, Rach.
It certainly was, and there are some serious curbs here at Imola that will really upset the car. These guys have to watch out for them. Of course, looking through your lap, you have got some fairly decent curbs running through Brigado and Tamburello, Villeneuve, and of course, most importantly, through Acqua Minerale and Variante Alta. Variante Alta being possibly the worst of all of them. That is a really abrupt corner with huge curbs. But it can be quite upsetting at Piratella. That's a tough corner, fast left-hander downhill. A lot of runoff, tempted to use too much, and it can bite you.
And of course, I talk about momentum. After this, we have a summer break. So there's a lot of people up and down the field looking to make a statement, make an impact here today. Apex Racing UK, it is going to be worth talking about them because Pete Berriman and Graham Carroll inside the top 5. Fantastic, fantastic job by both of those drivers. And it does show the fact that really we are looking at the likes of Apex, the likes of Orion, and we just saw that. That's why Gregor Hutu's first lap was so bad, because of the fact he just completely messed up over the high curves of the Variante Alta. But it's showing that really we've got Radicals versus Inex versus Orion versus the likes of Apex, all vying to be the 3rd best team in sim racing right now. And it's so close between them that I couldn't actually tell you who would be the better team out of the 3 at the moment. 4.
I completely agree. I think it's absolutely great that we're seeing this level of competition, really making the series look absolutely awesome at the moment. Rather than a very clear, structured hierarchy with the old car, where we had teams who'd worked it out and some teams who just weren't quite as good with the car. This is a new level playing field. Some teams have worked this out faster than others. Inex certainly one of those teams that we really have to put up on the list of teams that have really cracked this. Some incredible standout performances, but it's hard to really pick. The top 5-6 teams in this series are that close right now. It makes for incredibly exciting racing.
It's worth noting we saw Kazuki Mishima there. This is a replay of qualifying, exiting pit road. Pit entry is very fast here. Pit exit, probably the second hardest. Actually, I'll put it in the list with Philippine and the Road America as some of the hardest pit entries, because you really do come onto the outside line of the Tamborelli chicane.
You can, it certainly can, of course. Tamborello chicane is a tough one. You've just really got to make sure you get that one right. It's important to carry speed down towards Villeneuve. So important, because that's a very short run. Then you have to Tosa, so it'll be tough.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the qualifying portion of our show. Coming up next, we have ourselves a race, and it's going to be a very, very interesting race here today on Racesport TV, streaming live as ever on iRacing Live. Martin Kroenke got himself pole position, but we're not quite sure whether he and Borcha can hang on to that come the race itself. All we do know is Imola is proving already to produce some fantastic memories here in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, and our race coverage will kick off after these short messages. You're watching Racesport TV on iRacing Live. He's typing! He's typing! He's got it! He's got it! It's a new line of code! Okay, okay. Sorry. Welcome to the second half of the 2016 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. Welcome to Imola, a track that has hosted Formula One racing under two names, the Italian Grand Prix and the San Marino Grand Prix, since the 1980s. It's a track that has been mired in controversy over the years. 1982, of course, it was at the centre of the battle between FITA and FOCA. 1994, one of the darkest days in the history of Formula One. And this track had to change quite a lot as a consequence of that one. But now, this is a track that people love racing at. They've recently redone it. Turn number 15 through 17 is no longer a chicane. Instead, it's a flat-out run to the start-finish line. We added chicanes in 95 because of what happened in 94. But this is still a fun, a fast and a technical track to run at. In 2000, Jenson Button, in only his third F1 race, he struggled so much here because of the fact that he couldn't deal with those low curves, and low curves are going to be the order of the day. Being able to manage them, being able to run them, and being able to keep yourself, your car, and your tyres all under control. So, welcome ladies and gentlemen, Will Vincent, Rachel Whiteford here. We got ourselves 4 minutes before we go down to the starting grid. As we say, you're running here at Imola. There you can see the race today. Well, it's going to run for a total of 62 laps. As you can see, the track is 4.8 kilometers. It's a nice temperature today, 79 degrees Fahrenheit. It is humid. That will really affect the drafting. And wind speeds of 13 kilometers an hour. That is something we all need to pay attention to. So, Rachel, Imola, Tronche, Borcha, front row of the grid. It looks as though that they've got this track nailed down.
It certainly does, Will, of course, and Andre Borcha, I think, is going to be the wild card in this race. Whilst he might be playing the role of tail gunner to Martin Tronche, he hasn't been up this close to the front of the grid in a very long time. Expect Andre Borcha to be incredibly resistant to giving that spot up.
Oh, as you can see there, that is the exit of Tosa. We just saw one of the NX Racing drivers go off that. This is the run down to turn number 8. You see there, we've got drivers on their warm-up blasters for about 10 minutes, as it normally does here. As we'll just give you the opportunity quickly to run through your starting grid for this event. One more time. There's Tronche, VRS Carina Sim Sports. Andre Borcha, VRS Carina Sim Sports. And then Peter Berryman, Gregor Hutu in P number 3, P number 4. Very quickly, Rachel, Berryman in that third place could well be key to today. If you can stay ahead of Hutu into turn 1, well, really turn 2, then this is really going to change the complexity and the outlook of this race.
Absolutely, and what I said for Borcha applies for Berryman also. Both of them want to prove themselves, both of them want to reinforce that good qualifying position, so expect them both to fight tooth and nail for this one. It could be a good chance for a different Apex Racing UK driver to get towards the front there and score another podium. I'm sure that will be fresh on his mind.
Yeah, and he's talking about our P number 6. Hey, it was 8 races ago that he set the iRacing world on fire in that NX Racing machine. Alexei Yusiakoda, he's all the way down in P number 10 here today. Kazuki Mishima, expect him to move up quickly through the field here today. Yuta Saito also in 15th place for Radicals Online. Now we'll go on back, you can see a couple of people are out of position. David Corbs would like to win a little bit higher, same with Mo Garfilo. We cycle on back just a little bit more, you will notice the fact that you've got yourselves 30 drivers here today. 31 drivers, Benjamin Lindsay for TNT Racing. Didn't set a qualifying time, but by virtue of there being less than 35 drivers, he was going to be allowed to race here today. Rachel, give me a winner.
I'm going to have to say Martin Tronche. Well, I think he's got the momentum from the last couple of races, and he's got the starting spot that will gift it to him if he can hold on. Martin Tronche is my pick. I think it's his championship to lose now.
I'm going to ask Hugo Louise to do the same. He's on cameras today. Unfortunately, Johnny Simone can't be with us. He's got himself a little bit of a throat infection. So, Johnny, get well very soon. Also want to give a shout out to Lena Geed as well. It's her last ever Le Mans this year, of course. One of the most inspirational women in all of motorsports. We come to new projects in that number 7 car after this event. However, we wish her well in her future endeavours. I want to give a shout out as well to Istvan Balal for, in such short time, giving us this fantastic camera pack here today, and also Anwan Design, the official graphics partner of Racebot TV. There's a look then, up above at this track. It is perfect. Very close to San Marino, but not in it. That's why it's called the San Marino Grand Prix, in the period of time when Italy had 2 Formula 1 races. In the same way that the European Grand Prix used to be at the Nürburgring, they called it the Luxembourg Grand Prix once upon a time there as well. Here you can see then, 26 seconds remaining on the play clock before we get the checkered flag out. It's going to be interesting to see what will happen at the start of this event. It's fast down into Tamburello. It's interesting to note that a couple of drivers, by the way, will have themselves drive-through penalties. They are Davide Korps, Jeremy Bouteloup, Yoni Tomala, Oscar Mangan, and Paul Ilbrink. They must start the race where they qualified. They cannot start on pit road. Their drive-through penalty must be served between lap number 1 and lap number 3. Checkered flag is out. That means, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go racing. One half of the season is in the books, and Martin Kroenke has shown not only can he go toe-to-toe with a 5-time champion of Gregor Huttu, but he can also outpace him, outsmart him. No one's ever really been able to do that, but now we're going to see ourselves a race where if Kroenke can win, he will establish himself as a championship favourite, and no one has been able to do that over the course of the last 4 years. So all eyes are on VRS Kind of Simsport, Martin Kroenke and Andrea Borcha. All eyes also on Gregor Huttu in that number 66 machine. The question is going to be, how big a role will Peter Berryman play in this event? Because if Berryman has a good start and can mix it up with the Commander boys, this race could well be absolutely fantastic. We are now waiting then for those lights to go on top of the iRacing.com gantry. Here we are, lights on, lights out, here we go, green flag in the air. Oh my word, we saw there, there's Andrea Borcha on the run down in towards turn number 1. He got himself sideways, and also Peter Berryman tried going for the race lead, wasn't able to do so. We've had drama already in this event, but Martin Kroenke is going to seize the opportunity. He moves himself very, very quickly into the race lead. It was almost disastrous though, Rachel, behind him. How did Borcha save that one?
Oh, terrible start for Andrea Borcha there, Will. He had a real slip and he goes to the left. That creates a 4-5 wide situation. Absolutely incredible control from all the drivers there not to have a crash, but the guy who took advantage, that NX Racing car slipping through, was Joni Tomala, who just snuck past Huttu. He will be a tough car for Huttu to shake.
But don't forget, Tomala will have himself a drive-through penalty in the first 3 laps of this event, so he got himself a fantastic start. What he's trying to do now is minimise the damage he will have when he has to pull through pit road in just a little bit. Here they are then, the laps tick off quickly here, 62 of them
spin. Sorry, we have Olli Pakala involved in an incident there, further back in your field, with, I believe that is one of the cars from...
Yakola.
It's another red line car. Alexius Yakola and Olli Pakala having an incident at the third chicane.
Yeah, indeed. Look at that. That's Yakola trying to go down to the inside of the driver of Mogar Philo, and he gets himself in touch there with Mogar Philo. I think I just saw Yeni Tomala. Yeah, he's just coming towards pit road. So we talked about that drive-through penalty. He is taking it early, but a lot of action happening here on the opening lap of this motor race. One thing though, Rachel, Kroenke's disappeared. 2 seconds, lap number 1. You don't get that in the World Championship Grand Prix Series anymore.
Yeah, that's quite a Mercedes for him to be pulling right now. He has disappeared. Just over 2 seconds to Peter Berryman there. Incredible gap. Huttu in third, of course, but hot on his heels is Mitchell de Jong in one of those very fast VRS Commander cars. So is Andrea Borcha. Huttu will not remain unmolested for long, but Kroenke, 2 seconds? I can't believe it, Will.
Well, it's worth noting, Peter Berryman runs in second place in this motor race. The question will be, what is the raw pace of that Apex car compared to that car of Huttu over the next couple of laps? Because if Berryman has got the raw pace to carry on where he is and Huttu can't get past, well then this race is Kroenke's, pretty much signed, sealed, delivered already. Riley Preston, Andrea Borcha side by side, in towards the back today will come. The winner of this battle, they're going to make contact, and oh, turn around goes Riley Preston in the Orion Race Team car. That will surely be reviewed after this motor race, but Andrea Borcha having a tough day here today. Riley Preston looking very, very angry after that one.
Oh, absolutely. That was a big miscommunication on both parts there. That will go to Stewards Review, I'm absolutely sure, Will, but wow, early to be getting that excited.
Yeah, there we can see then the back end of that incident from Riley Preston. We're going to see if we can get ourselves one more look at that one. This is going to be riding on board of him. And this is on the run out of the Variante Alta. You can see he gets himself a good run, moves himself down to the inside there of Andre Borcha. They two come down into the corner. That's all on Borcha really, Rachel. He just hit that inside curve, bounced across the racetrack into Riley Preston.
Yeah, he did. That's not a great thing to happen. Just keep an eye on this, Will. Martin Kroenke, another 0.8 of a second that lap. He is gone, and Hutu is not catching Berryman fast enough.
Or, and I'm going to say the S word already, strategy. Maybe this could be a two-stopper by Kroenke. We were talking to some people before the start of this race, and they did imply that this should be a one-stop event. However, in the case of if you can put away a huge gap early, you might try and do a two-stopper for tyres only, because of course these guys don't refuel anymore, but they might try and overuse those tyres early, get themselves a competitive advantage, and see if they can make it work. Now, Hutu closed up to 0.2 of a second down into Ravazza, but I'm just having a look at the speed chart there. Hutu does get a toe over Peter Berryman, but he's not got enough to make a move really down to any of these corners. I think his best place, Rachel, the best place for anyone will be down into Ravazza.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great spot to make a pass here for Gregor Hutu. He's certainly up on the back of Berryman. He's got a chance here. Just has to time this right as they're running now towards the hairpin that is Tosa, up towards Piratella, that fast left-hander. I'll be pleased to have a quick look, but I think he might take a peek, Will, on the run towards Acqui Minerali. That could be a chance.
Yeah, he closes up to about a 10th and a half, but he has a downshift, and that cost him a couple of tenths of a second there for Gregor Hutu. It's just behind you, so there's a bit of battling going on. This was between the likes of Graham Carroll, Marta Piatella, Kazuki Umeshima. Hey, Rachel, I did say Umeshima will be up. He's up 3 places already in this motor race. Yes, there's been some people with drive-throughs that they've had to deal with, as Hutu. I just noticed that, Rachel. Hutu does not like those high curves down the Variante Alta, and because of that, he can't get close enough at Ravazza.
That is definitely a thing, Will. I think you're right. He's really not wanted to go near those. That car feeling unsettled very easily, we think. He will be in DRS range here, I think, but will it be enough? No DRS for Gregor Hutu. He is not in range for that DRS flap to activate on his Team Redline car. He will have to sit behind him. Yep, they just arrived at the braking zone. Not going to be there in time. No advantage to him, but yeah, that car really doesn't like curbs. He's definitely taking a more conservative line, so Hutu really going to be hampered here trying to pass on a narrow track where there is so much curb to use.
Yeah, and as I said, Jenson Button had the incidents back in 2000. He couldn't attack these low curves the way you need to at this racetrack. It's very, very tough to actually understand this track. Most cases they tell you to just touch the curves, don't abuse them. Here you kind of have to. As we go back on board, as we've got Riley Preston turned around. This is the second time he's had an incident, and I think that's going to be him classified as out of this event. Yeah, he's parked it into the wall there. I think that's on the exit of Tosa. Let's have a look on board of him. And this is the driver of Riley Preston then. Comes down to the inside of the car at Tosa. He makes contact with them. And yeah, that car nudges the wall. Riley Preston, Rachel, out of the event.
Yeah, not what he'd like to have happen in this one. He was saying before the race he'd like to make it past lap 3, maybe as far as lap 10. Well, he's kind of gone halfway. He's on lap 5, so hearted away there for Riley Preston. Improvement, but it's not what he'd like, I'm sure. Just take a look at the moment at Mitchell de Jong. He's about a second back here, Will, from Hutu and Berryman. That car using a lot more curbs, with the driver much happier using curbs, so he is gaining here, and he could start to worry Hutu when Hutu isn't quite as prepared to pass as he seems.
Yeah, last time by, it was a 1:22.0 for both Berryman and Hutu, a 1:21.6 for Mitchell de Jong. So it does look as though de Jong is closing, and of course Andre Borcha on that kind of recovery drive right now. You can see there is some damage, some scrapes of the paint at least to the right-hand side pod of that VRS Carolina Sim Sports machine. Graham Carroll's right behind them, then Marta Piatella in a 3-car train right now. I still like to go back to that first moment of this event. Borcha, a fantastic stage. He's had the wars already, Rachel, but he's still in P number 5. And for a driver who basically relies on consistency to get himself decent championship finishes, Borcha, at least he survived this stage of the event so far.
Yes, certainly Andre Borcher is, well, that start must have had his blood pumping, Will. He was not feeling in such a great state there. And car all over the place, so he is still in a good spot. P5 is definitely worth it, leading that train there of Carroll and Piatella, as we mentioned. But yeah, he's still in a great spot right now. Top 5 in 6 laps into this race. Not a bad place to be in at this stage, so we'll have to see what happens once we get towards the pit cycle. But we do expect that to be one stop in this 62-lap race, so about lap 30, 31, so that'll be the moment. But here, Utu is still stuck behind Berryman. That gap for the lead, well, that's opened up to 7.5 seconds, Will, in 7 laps.
Yeah, you just saw there the back end of Graham Carroll getting himself past Andre Borcher down in towards turn number 1. I think part of this comes down to the fact that maybe Borcher is struggling with a little bit of downforce issues as a consequence of him being in the wars. We're going to rerun this one on board then with the driver of Graham Carroll. You can just see he gets himself a perfect toe. DRS flap goes wide open and Graham Carroll goes to the outside and says, hey, I love that position, thanks very much, I'll take it. DRS flap closes, Carroll out brakes, manages to make the pass. A good job by him so far. As we've got a slow car then down in your field, and this looks like it's Danny Garcia Filo. Someone's just gone off there and he's running himself in P number 23. Utu can close, but he can't get himself past. Again, into Ravazza, not able to do anything. Mitchell de Jong, you can see that gap behind now. It's just 7/10 of a second. Peter Berryman, I hereby hand you the title of driver of the trolley train for the event so far. But you can't take anything away from Berryman. He got himself a fantastic qualifying, got himself a good start to this event, and that is what you need to do, as Utu looks as close as he's ever been. But he's not opening that DRS flap, Rachel. There may be some issues for Utu and that DRS flap.
There could be, actually, Will. I think he's definitely within that 1 second bracket. Unless there's an issue with DRS zones on this track, perhaps. But, I mean, at the front, Martin Kroenke is running a 21.04 that last time by. Berryman was only about 9/10 of a second slower. Utu himself, the same lap time. Behind them, Mitchell de Jong was running, again, the same lap time, maybe a 10th faster than those two, but they're all running about the same speed, so it's not as though Berryman doesn't deserve to be in second. He certainly does. Utu just can't find a way past. He can't find a way to be faster using those curbs. Yeah, there could be some sort of DRS issue. We are not sure. We'll have to try and get confirmation, but Utu's wing flap is not opening. We'll have to keep an eye on Mitchell de Jong when they come through the last corner this time by, Will. He should be in DRS range to use his.
Yeah, so there we can see then the gap between Gregor Utu and Mitchell de Jong is 0.7 of a second, and I want to keep you there on this rear wing of Gregor Utu because it's not opening. Let's have a look there. Oh, no, it has opened. It has opened this time by. Is he going to make a move then over Peter Berryman in towards turn number 1? He's nowhere near close enough. Absolutely nowhere near close enough at all. Only thing I'm maybe thinking is he's considering the fact that you might have to do a little bit of fuel saving here. But none of these other drivers are seeming to care about that. Maybe he's doing a little bit of tyre preservation, but why would you do that in a train of cars? You'd want to have the clean air, not the dirty air around you. As the kick as dust there comes up from Mitchell de Jong, he now is right there in that battle, lap number 9 of 62 here. And we're going to get you your movers and shakers in this event so far in just one moment. But here's your top 8 there. It's Kroenke now by 9.3 over Berryman. Then Utu in 3rd, de Jong in 4th. Carroll, Piatella, Borcher and Umeshima, they are your top 8. As, well, I don't know, this is actually about as close as Utu's been to the rear of Peter Berryman as they come down in towards the Variante Alto once again. On board from the rear now of Peter Berryman, and we'll have a look at that gap once again. It comes down to about a quarter of a second, down to about a 10th of a second, but no more. Peter Berryman has got enough of a straight line speed advantage that draft doesn't seem to make much of an impact. On the exit of Ravazza, down towards Tamburello chicane once again, and again, nothing. In fact, now de Jong is closer to Utu than Utu is to the driver of Berryman. Will de Jong, he's going to try round the outside in towards that first chicane. What a move there! Almost by de Jong, and then he slides it. Oh no! He'll lose a position. Almost 2 as a consequence. Mitchell de Jong tries to go bold, can't make it happen. Replay coming up from on board of him, but Rachel, sometimes you got to push, sometimes it doesn't work. Here we are on board with the driver of Mitchell de Jong. He tried to make the move on the outside. And you know what? He caught the high curve and the sleeping policeman. That's why it happened.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, whoa, brave move there by Mitchell de Jong. He's castle in one piece, of course, which is great, but that was a huge difference there, Will, in terms of speed. We'd seen with Gregor Hutu's DRS Open versus de Jong's. Look at that difference in closing speed. There is something at play here. Whether Hutu is using this to save fuel or not, I'm not sure. Perhaps he is running lighter than he has in the past. We know he tried to save fuel at Silverstone, that didn't work so well, but yeah, big save there by Mitchell de Jong.
Jorge Montana's in Movano has had himself a spin. We went off into the gravel. We won't call it a spin just yet. This is down at Piatella, turn number 8. This is one of the few tracks which still has a lot of gravel. Yeah, he loses the car straight into the gravel. In fact, that saved him from slamming into that basically tyre barrier. So Montana is now down in P number 24. Alexei Isiakola has not had himself a good day, Rachel. Down 3 places. And remember, there are people in this field who have had drive-through penalties as well. So Yakola's really struggling.
Yeah, he really is. Not a great race for him at the moment, so that's a real struggle he's working on. Well, keep an eye on Graham Carroll, though. He is charging up towards the back of Hutu to replace Mitchell de Jong, and, well, even he's recovering. And being followed by Marty Piatella, so group of cars starting to form a trolley train behind Berryman and Hutu.
Yeah, so there is the driver of Alexei Isiakola. Let's go a little bit further ahead. Andre Borch has lost himself another position, this time to his own teammate. In fact, you've now got 3 Commander guys in a row, and they are Mitchell de Jong, Marta Piatella, and Andre Borch. Borch, of course, is the big loser in your top 10 so far. Top 15 there for the brief moment on the left-hand side of your screen, but now you'll see the movers and shakers. Down 5 for Andre Borja, up 6 for Yuta Saito. We instead keep an eye on him, Rachel. Fantastic once again by the Radical boys.
Oh, absolutely. Radical's team has always been one of those ones. If we talked about there being no clear second, third or fourth team, but Radicals have always had to be one of those top 3 teams. They have been impressive consistently. Racecraft qualifying, race performance, they're always there no matter what happens, and well, they always seem to find a way through, and that is what they're doing. But wide there by Andre Borcher on the back of that train, just losing some ground there as he pushed wide on the end of Villeneuve. Actually, no, that's Tamburello, actually, I apologise. Villeneuve here, just lagging back a little from his teammates, but these guys, this is turning into a 5-6 car train now. Utu really under threat.
As you just saw, Yuta Saito is able to get ahead of Kazuki Umeshima. So now that is 7 places up for Yuta Saito. Much faster at this stage of the race. And actually, he will join that gaggle of cars because he's actually one of the fastest guys on the racetrack. Last time by, actually, Martin Conquet did a 121.0. Yuta Saito a 121.2. Saito is faster than pretty much everyone else inside of your top 10 right now. As we go back to have a look at Gregor Hutu on the exit of Tosa down into Piatella one more time. This is lap number 12 of 62 for those of you just joining us. Here are your weather conditions for today. Wind speed of 13 km an hour, air temp of 79, track temp of 90. So there's not much of a difference between the air temp and track temp compared to what we sometimes see, but the wind can play a big factor here, and it does seem to be that Hutu is still unable to close up to the rear of Peter Berryman. Last time by, 121.8 for them, or 121.2 for Martin Kroenke. He's now 13 seconds ahead, Rachel.
Yeah, this is a ridiculous lead by Martin Kroenke. This car is hooked up well. Incredible performance. Just logging laps. He's not trying to pull away too fastly. He's got a good pace. He's running to numbers. Looking at his lap times in the last couple of laps, he's been doing solidly in the bottom end of the top 21s. Top end of the 20s. So he's keeping within about 0.3 of a second. He doesn't want to stretch the gap too much, but at the same time, the gap is always a good thing. Maybe he is going to go for a 2-stop, we're not sure. But now that refueling isn't a thing, it's less of an advantage, shall we say. When you were taking fuel with the old car, the FW31 Williams, you could run the car lighter. It was a bigger advantage taking tyres and fuel on that stop. Now, just tyres. The drop-off at the end of a stint is going to cancel out what you gain.
There we can see Marty Piatella running himself in P number 6. He's got himself in the middle of a Kawai Sports sandwich as it stands. Piatella running himself in P6, Borcher right behind, and then you've got just ahead Mitchell de Jong. Lap on board then with Piatella. This is Racesport TV, fan immersion. That's what it's like to do a lap on board with one of the best sim racers in the world, Martin Piatella there for Co-Anderson. Of course, Berriman and Hutu, side by side. Hutu finds himself a way through. Finally, able to do so. Gregor Hutu up into P number 2. Rachel, let's relive the moment as we go then from a look up above. This is down in towards the first chicane. He moves himself to the outside, gets himself the overspeed, and well, you get yourself to one quarter distance. Hutu comes alive. He finally gets past Berriman. Berriman doesn't really do anything much there, but they stay within. Actually, no. Hutu's pulled out 6 tenths of a second already in this event, so Hutu just said, hey, I need to start pushing quickly.
I think Hutu was saving fuel well in those early laps. I think he was running a delta for a number of laps to try and get a certain number saved, because he hadn't ever had that closing distance before, despite being that close coming out the corners. So Hutu was saving, then Hutu decided enough, now it's time to go past. Not sure what he's saving for. He's let Martin Kroenke get 14 seconds up the road, unless he's planning to fly up there right now and take the lead away. This, I guess, will be a strategy call we'll see resolve itself towards the end of the race, but yeah, huge difference to the previous 14 times down that front straight.
Someone made a good point actually just there on our social media. He did something there, Gregor Hutu, that Mitchell de Jong couldn't do a couple of laps ago. Now it's worth going to see whether Peter Berriman will start falling through the field. The guy now right behind him, he's his own teammate, is Andre Borgia. Has had a moment down on track. We're going to go and have ourselves a look at that one, but Andre Borgia has had himself a moment. This looks like to be down on the run into the first chicane. And while Andre Borgia, we say he's had a horrible day already, he tries to look down to the inside of Yuta Saito, gets onto the grass, and narrowly avoids him, but gets turned around, he turns himself around as a consequence. Well, Rachel, Borgia's just not having the day of one of the best qualifying performances of his entire career.
Yeah, it's really not. He slipped back to where he is normally running in the series. Well, not great to see. Still an incredible driver in that top 10 constantly, but we expected a lot more. This qualifying run from him was a great run. He'd had that car up in a great spot, and to see him drop back is a little disappointing, but not unexpected.
Yep. There we can see then the two drivers running themselves in P3, P4. Peter Berriman, Graham Carroll. Gap, 4 tenths of a second. Hutu, by the way, 1.8 already ahead of Peter Berriman. So Hutu, last time by, charging, but it's still worth noting, Rachel, that he was 4 tenths of a second slower than Martin Kroenke, as Carroll tries again, not able to do anything in towards that first chicane.
Yeah, running into that first chicane is a tough place to do it, but it's a big long straight, of course. With that DRS, great opportunity to pass. Inside is easy to defend here, so you're going to hang it running outside. Those curbs, we saw what happened Mitchell de Jong will. Well, trying to go around the outside with those curbs so close to you can be very treacherous, but we saw Hutu get it right. We saw Hutu pull that one off, and it can be done, but you've got to be so careful. Much harder than that second chicane, but you've got the big run, the big draft. Best opportunity to use it, and, well, we've seen it done.
Let's get ourselves another look at that one if we can. This was again down into that first chicane. Driver trying to take too much there, as it looks, he looks to the he goes all the way off there, one driver, and then Tawan's just like, you know, the track's somewhere, I'll turn right instead of turning left. He's now down in P number 22. Of course, he's had to serve himself a drive-through penalty in this event as well. Social media, want to get involved? /RaceSpot TV on Facebook, at RaceSpot TV on Twitter. Get involved in the conversation, and of course check out all the other events that we broadcast here on RaceSpot TV and on iRacing Live. Going to keep it at this front battle for just one more moment. Daniel Pack, there aren't really much going on. Right, so the gaps are 1 second, 2.3, 2.6, 0.8, 3.1. When you look outside of your top 8, that's why we're focusing on this battle for P3, 4, 5 and 6 at the moment.
Yeah, we certainly are. 3, 4, 5 and 6 is a great run at the moment. It's, of course, Berriman, Carroll and de Jong, followed by Marty Piatella. Those two Coanda teammates are sitting 1 and 2 behind each other. Graham Carroll, good run from the Apex driver there. And Peter Berriman also in 3rd. That's 2 Apex drivers up in 3rd and 4th. Well, big improvement from those guys, of course. We did comment on their qualifying results, and they hadn't been stellar until recently. They've been improving massively in qualifying. And I always said that if they could start to match their qualifying to how well they run in races, It started at the front and it could stay there. They are proving that right now. Starting at the front, they are staying up there. Of course, Carroll, one of the biggest new drivers coming up from the Pro Series last season. Stellar run for him so far in his 2016 season. He's proving why he's made it to the big time.
Just having a look there at Marin Kolak in the Orion Race Team car versus Antoine Hegelin in the Apex Racing UK machine. Now, Hegelin is in the rear end of the top 10. He's been caught by Kolak just a little bit that last lap. We can have a look at their updated lap times. They come past the strike once again. Antoine Hegelin does a 1 minute 22.1 and it's a 121.8 there for Kolak. So these three drivers still mighty close to each other as we continue then towards the end of our first third of racing. There is your ongoing battle that's going on. Four drivers separated by less than a second each, and then you can see the remainder of your top 10, your top 15 cycling through one of these fantastic chicanes. This is the Villeneuve chicane then, the one that is turn 5 and 6 on track. And well, so far, Rachel, what we've learned in this event is Cronkage has found himself a new gear.
Yeah, it's the Cronkite gear. Someone's released the Cronkite early this season, rather than it being let out to play at the end of the season, as we have seen in the past, Will. Martin Cronkite, with a stellar drive in this mid part of the season, I think he's realised this is where he was lacking in seasons past. This mid-season consistency, he's really delivering, this year. Great driving from him. Great consistency. His lap times again at the moment are just superly robotic. He's still hitting 21 flats. It's incredible. He's 2-3 tenths faster than Hutu. Yeah, I actually said that on an iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series broadcast. Martin Cronkite, lap for lap, is outpacing Gregor Hutu.
Alex Simpson running himself in P number 17, up 12 places in this event so far. Hunting down Isaac Price. He might actually get him. No, he won't on the exit of Ravazza, but that DRS flap is going to go wide open in towards turn number 1 and 2. Alex Simpson, he's going to be close. He's going to look to the outside or the inside. He's not going to. Yes, no, he won't. Looks as though he had a little bit of a dummy down to the inside, and actually as a consequence Isaac Price gets a very slow run, and actually no, Simpson's going to tag him from behind on the exit of Tamburello, and that means you're going to have a car hard into the wall. As Dinkel there looks as though he's also out of this event, but oh my word, that was a crazy one there. And it all started, Rachel, as Alex Simpson was trying to get himself past Isaac Price. Isaac Price is out of this motor race replay obvious now, because that one was a bad one, and that one will go towards the stewards. We are almost certain.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Englishman and a Welshman walk into a gravel trap. I guess that one's a start to a joke, but I don't think Isaac Price was laughing, Will. Just, yeah, that's going to go to a steward's decision. I don't think it was intentional, but I think it's 100% there on Alex Simpson.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You can just see the fact that Isaac Price ended up being turned around hard into Barriers. He's out of the race as a consequence. So, and that one, yeah, is the fact that, yeah, we can see that Price was slow out the corner, but it's Alex Simpson's responsibility there to find a safe way past. He could have just flipped the throttle and got a better run into Villeneuve, but he didn't. He tried to be too aggressive too early, and that was the consequence, as Alex Simpson actually is coming down towards pit road right now. Maybe some front wing changes needed to that car. Here he comes. Let's have a look. He's going to do himself a pit stop. Yeah, he's going to get a new wing, we think. This is a long stop. Much longer than what you normally see. 11.7 out and away. We've got Vinicio and Miko on pit road as well. He's doing himself a service, and he's out in 5.3 seconds. So Simpson needing a new front wing, Rachel.
Yeah, I think it might be one of the end plates damaged on that wing, but you know, when you're in the cockpit of one of these cars, the high downforce cars, Will, you can really feel when you've got damage to the front end of that car. But in the same vein, you can also imagine it. You can tell yourself, I've hit that front wing, it's going to be damaged. And you can almost imagine damage to those end plates, damage to the main plane structure, and you can come in for a preventative stop and it might not be needed. But you know what? It's safer than going into a corner and having that front end plow because you haven't got any downforce. So best call there by Simpson. It's what they had to do, not what they wanted, but it's a safe move.
Graham Carroll still unable to get past Peter Berriman. Your top 8 gaps then down at the bottom of your screen. You notice Gregor Hutu 16.7 seconds behind Martin Cronkite. Peter Berriman is a further 5 seconds back. Then you got Carroll half a second behind Berryman. De Jong right on the rear of Graham Carroll. Piatella right on the rear of De Jong. Yuta Saito coming to join this party right now. He runs in P number 7. And Yuta Saito, we know this guy can pass. He's your biggest mover in the field so far.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, Will, when he catches this group. Will he start to harry the back of Marty Piatella there? Will he get between the two VRS Grande drivers? We will have to find out, of course. Radicals Online, definitely not a team to shirk at getting in the mix. Of course, Saito and Omishima, new drivers to that team, doing a brilliant job this season so far. But we'll have to see what he can do when he gets into that group. Saito running 7s. So he's about 10th to 2/10 faster, Will. He will be in DRS range, but with the cars in front of him also having DRS, welcome to the trolley train. So he might not go there too fast when he arrives in part of the train.
Yeah, there you can see De Jong is 0.4 seconds behind Graham Carroll. Graham Carroll 0.4 seconds behind Peter Berryman. Now you have got Antoine Hegelin versus Marin Kolak in towards turn 2 they come. Hegelin not able to do anything, but this is an ongoing battle, Rachel, between the two drivers of Kolak and Antoine Hegelin. As last time by their lap times, well, Hegelin was faster than Kolak by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, Antoine Hegelin definitely was good running from him, of course, but still a long way to go in this race. We're lap 23 of 62, so just about a third of the way through. Field isn't spreading out how we thought. We definitely said there would be some trolley trains, and there are, so it's going to be exciting to see.
As you'll notice right now that we've got ourselves Diego Oliveira versus Mo Garfido. Mo Garfido started this race a little bit further down than what he'd normally be used to. He is up though 4 positions in this event so far. Diego Oliveira runs himself in P number 15 in the Positive Sim Racing car. Last time by, it was separated by 1/10 of a second, but Philo is leading that charge and he's leading that battle for the time being. As we've got then about 4 or 5 different battles going on track. We're going to, actually Oliveira's just really fallen off that train for the moment. So let's go back to Antoine Hegelin. He's 0.7 of a second back as it stands. As he does a slower lap that last time by 0.2 of a second. But we've got that ongoing battle for P number 3 as James Harold's moved himself past. As also Peter Berryman's lost himself a second position. Let's get ourselves another look at that. It looks as though the wheels have come off Peter Berryman for the time being. We need to get ourselves another look at that one. Peter Berryman does get himself back past Mitchell de Jong. We just saw the rear of that one. As that's 2 Coanda drivers coming together. It's all going wrong for Coanda Sim Sports here today. So much going wrong. Mitchell de Jong looks as though he might well be out of this motor race. But here we are. Here's a look at Peter Berryman. And this is a look from behind as the first pass. Graham Carroll then, to his right-hand side, is able to complete the pass in towards turn number 1. As Berryman gives him a little bit of room, this then gives the advantage to the driver of De Jong, who's then going to try and get past down into the second chicane. But then, we'll keep it with that. Oh, De Jong almost ran into the rear of Graham Carroll, but then De Jong has himself some issues. De Jong is unfortunately going to be classified as out of this motor race. Andre Borcher classified as out of this motor race as well. Hang tight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep you updated on what is going on. Martin Kroenke, though, leads this motor race by 17 seconds. Graham Carroll runs himself in 3rd. Peter Berryman runs himself in P number 4. Marty Piatella on the rear of Peter Berryman. Not yet in towards 1, Rachel.
Yeah, certainly is. And I hate to break that 4th wall, Will, but it looks like once again the computer of yeah, I won't say it at all, but bad luck striking once again for, of course, Mitchell de Jong. Had some issues in the past, and it's one of those things.
Yep, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, running ourselves on lap number 25 of 62 here on the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. Andre Borcher out of the event. Mitchell de Jong out of the event. What it does mean, Yuta Saito is up into P number 6. Marty Piatella, Rachel, just 0.3 of a second ahead.
Yeah, Marty Piatella in a great spot, but really being caught now. A bit of a wiggle there ahead by the driver of Peter Berryman as he came out of that 3rd chicane. Piatella definitely catching him right now. Saito hot on the rear now. He's really joined that train. Omishima, well, he's a second back. He's about to join this fight too, so he's gone from having 2 Apex, 2 Coanda and 2 Radicals to, well, Looks like Marty Piatella's feeling very lonely at the moment.
Well, and of course, what now will be so important, Rachel, is a pit stop, because if you're slow into the entry, you're slow into the brakes, you're slow into your pit box, or you have a slower stop, there you are. The 3 positions lost. And really, we're looking at 4 drivers scrapping to get 2 positions inside your top 5 on a golden opportunity for them.
Yeah, it really is, of course. For drivers like Marty Piatelli, this whole top 5, top 6 wheel is a golden opportunity. Saito, Omishima, Berryman, Carroll, Piatella, all of them desperately need a good result. And this is really where the fight is going to be today. This is the big one. Hutu, he's cleared off by 10 seconds. Ronke, he's 16 seconds ahead of Hutu. First and second's like watching Mercedes, so let's leave those guys alone. But Carroll, Berryman, Piatella, Saito and Omishima, they will be our fight today, and this will be a fight to the death because these guys all have something to prove.
Indeed, it will be. As we can see now, Piatella versus Berryman versus Saito. Let's go look then from our aerial coverage as they come down into Ravazza 1, into Ravazza 2, and now we're going to go on board with Marty Piatella. He should get himself a good run. He's got that DRS. It's going to be wide open for him. Gap down to a 10th of a second. Is he going to go to the outside? Oh yeah, he will. In towards that first corner. He will come around the outside and he will get that pass done cleanly into that first chicane. Move Piatella now into a podium position. Move Berryman down into P4. And it's not over yet for him because of the fact that he's also got Yuta Saito behind. Graham Carroll, Rachel, on pit road.
Yeah, Graham Carroll going to get his service there on that car, so we'll have to see what happens to him. This is a tad early, but not a bad call. He was in that window. He'd broken free of traffic. Of course, being in traffic so long really had worn his tyres away, so wasn't making a big enough gap. Come on pit road now, get clean air, away he goes.
Yep, 4.2 seconds for him. That is your benchmark that we need to keep an eye out on for the rest of this event. Yuta Saito right on the rear of Peter Berryman as they work themselves up the hill on the exit of Tosa, now down in towards the corner that we like to call Piatella. Actually, no, I take that back. That's a Variante Alta, and a very good run by Yuta Saito out of the Variante Alta. This will give themselves the opportunity as they come down into Ravazza. Will he try and make the move? The answer is going to be yes. They're going to go side by side in towards Ravazza, and oh, Saito there. They almost made contact. Saito has to drop back, but he may well still get a better run out of the corner. Back on board Yuta Saito as Berryman's in towards pit road. Berryman's on towards pit road, so that one will close that battle off. And you can see it's a very slow pit road speed here. What we want to know, Rachel, Berryman versus Carroll, who will win that battle, and that will really show us the tale of things to come.
Certainly will do. We'll see exactly what degradation we're looking at here. Of course, both of them have been in traffic, so it's certainly a good one to see. But in fact, actually, no, Berryman has been in a lot less traffic than Carroll has. So, of course, he was ahead of Hutu for about 10 laps there. So that will be an interesting one to see. 14 laps, I recall now, actually. But that'll be interesting to see whether he has slightly fresher tyres from this one. That one extra lap might have been able to jump his teammate, but it's going to be really exciting to see where they both come out.
Yeah, as we're having a look, Graham Carroll's pass. We have confirmation Graham Carroll's way past 2.8 seconds already. And even Graham Carroll had a slow pit stop in that one. So, well, really, Peter Berryman wasn't that good on pit entry. That's what we can tell by that one. But now, this is a golden opportunity for Kazuki Yamashima and Yuta Saito. Yuta Saito having clean air for the first real time in this event. 1.9 seconds behind the driver of Marty Piatella, but last time by Rachel, he was 2 seconds slower than Piatella because of that big lockup down at Ravazza.
Yeah, big lockup there running down to the corner. Nearly pushed wide there and grabbed some outside grass and gravel, but managed to keep that car in shape, and a good run from him. He's into pit road now, as I believe we'll also see Piatella on pit road there. Omishima will continue round for another lap, as will Ilkka Haapala.
Yep, so Kronke stays out, Hutu stays out, Umashima stays out, Haapala stays out. Piatella and Saito on pit road, as is Marinus Kolak and Antoine Heglin. Into his box then, we'll see, we'll stay on board of Yuta Saito. He's out and away, but what will the driver of Piatella... Oh, they're going to be 1/10 of a second. It'll stay where it is, about 1.7, 1.8 seconds. Indeed, it's 1.7 as they come out of pit road. The big question, though, is going to be what would happen with these guys compared to the likes of Graham Carroll. Graham Carroll's just gone past. Now, what about Peter Berryman? Will Saito be able to jump Berryman? The answer is going to be, for a brief moment at least, yes, but Berryman down to the inside, into that first chicane, side by side, Berryman sneaks his way through, Rachel.
Brilliant move there by Peter Berryman. What a move he has pulled there. Graham Carroll, well, it's not Graham Carroll, actually, I apologise. It's one of the Radical cars.
It's Yuta Saito.
Yeah, Yuta Saito, great move. Just flawless driving by him. This is the sort of thing we really want to see from Peter Berryman, of course, well. Just some good, honest dogfighting from that car. We saw a great qualifying today. We've seen great performance, and we've seen that Mitchell de Jong has actually retired now. But just very beautiful racing. Hutu, yeah, on pit road.
Yep, so here comes Mr. Fire Time then on towards pit road. Note before Martin Kroenke. Pit stop time then. Should be about 4.1. 4.2, he's out and away. And back onto track he comes. Well, we know he'll be good on the pit entry, pit exit. Will he come out around traffic as Ilkka Haapala is on towards pit road as well? Nah, Hutu's never going to come out in traffic. He plans that one to perfection. Ilkka Haapala out in 4.2 seconds, so he now remerges back onto the track. Let's go and pay some attention to the one and only Mr. Martin Kroenke as he now comes down into Rivazza. We expect him on pit road this time by, but he goes wide. Those tyres have hit their adhesion limit. We expect him to come on towards pit road now. That is a dodgy lap. Slows it all the way down. It's a very long pit road here. Martin Kroenke, that's as close as we've seen him coming to crack, but he had himself a big cushion. 17 seconds. It was before the pit stops. His in-lap will get in a moment. It's a 138.1 for Gregor Hutu. In fact, that was a very slow in-lap for Gregor Hutu. Having a look through, all things considered. Having a look now for Martin Kroenke, 139.3 actually, so a very slow in-lap for Kroenke. That was also caused, Rachel, by what he did down at Rivazza. But he comes out, 4.2 seconds, and that is his pit stop done. Now, just manage those tyres because we're halfway through the motor race.
Yeah, this is a great time to come down pit road for Martin Kroenke. He's gone past that halfway point, Will, so this second stint will be a lap or two less. Seemed that stint he did in the first run was maybe a lap or two too far. But this is perfect for him. He's done the hardest part. Now he knows what to expect over the tyres over this run. He can do exactly the same thing again. He can control this run. And Hutu didn't make up any time in his cycle, we think. So this is really in his hands. Just be cool, be calm, and don't push too hard. Martin Kroenke, though, we saw that little mistake. He was trying to push hard for that in-lap. He was trying to be perfect. Martin, you are, so keep doing what you're doing, but, you know, he's doing a great run at the moment. He needs to keep that car underneath him, and he needs to focus on that. This championship, not this race. He has the advantage. Don't make mistakes yourself.
But that gap came down 3 seconds over the course of the pit stop window. So, hey, you saw the Canadian Grand Prix with Sebastian Vettel versus Lewis Hamilton. We could well have one here in the 9th round of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. Couple of updates. Kazuki Mishima came towards pit road. He came up behind Yuta Saito and Peter Berryman. Yuta Saito still 4 tenths of a second behind Peter Berryman. He's looking for the top 5, and he's one of your biggest movers in the event so far. As this lap is all complete, we're going to be halfway through this round number 9 of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. And that, ladies and gentlemen, means we're going to take you RaceSpot TV side by side in just one moment's time. He's typing! He's typing! He's got it! He's got it! It's a new line of code! Okay. Sorry.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race. so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the situation. Utu versus Kroenke. Last time by, it's a 120.3 for Kroenke, 120.2 for Gregor Hutu. They are trading fastest laps of the event. Rachel, our timing screen is lighting up like a Christmas tree.
It certainly is at the moment. Well, the timing tree is going crazy. It's not sure where it wants to be at the moment, but we saw that fastest lap of the race so far from Martin Kroenke. That was this lap just gone. Wait for it. In fact, no, 2 laps ago, he set fastest lap of the race, and then this lap he set again the fastest lap of the race, even faster, a 20.345, which is, if I'm right, I believe that was well, it's not fastest.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have got ourselves, unfortunately, a bit of an issue with our audio sound right now. So we are going to have to step aside for 1 minute. We will come back as quickly as we possibly can. We do apologize. We have lost all sound. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun, but there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Imola. Stand by for 10 seconds. I do apologise for that brief intermission, but we are back, we're here, we're live at Imola as well. Hutu versus Kroenke. Hutu versus Kroenke. Two of the biggest names in all of sim racing are duking it out right now. Lap number 37 of 62 here on Racesport TV. Streaming live on iRacing Live as the gap, well, it's a close-ish one, Rachel, right now. And we're going to get another look at lap times because Kroenke, 120.1. What could Hutu do? 120.4 that time by.
Yeah, certainly. We had, I don't know how much we heard before, of course, we lost audio there, I'm really sorry about that, but yeah, of course, fastest lap comes in by Martin Kroenke. He then improves. Gregor Hutu improves with the new fastest lap of the race so far. These two titans of the series are going toe-to-toe, fist-to-fist. Yeah, they are 12, 13 seconds apart on the racetrack, but yeah, it can take any little pressure. If Martin sees the gap decreasing to Hutu, he can put a foot wrong and make a mistake. So this is what Gregor Hutu is counting on. He's counting on applying pressure from a distance. This is like a Tomahawk missile launch. He might not be right next to him, but he's projecting force.
We just saw Kazuki Mishima almost make a move over Peter Berriman. Berriman hasn't had the greatest of race days, but he's still scored inside your top 10. Let's talk about Berriman for a moment, Rachel, because he's lost 3 places, yes, in this event, but he's still running in P number 6. If you're an Apex Racing UK driver, and you're running in P number 6, in most cases, you're a happy, happy boy. But, Berriman, do you think that he's wishing just a little bit more to have held off? I think he overused those tyres in that first stint.
Yeah, I think he did well. It's definitely not paid off this time by. He's dropped back quite a bit. Yeah, he had clean air, which would have made the tyre slightly better, not fighting really the car pushing on him. But, yeah, he drove harder than we've seen him drive in a long time, and if anything, he deserves credit for that alone, because he held Gregor Hutu behind him for 14 laps. That isn't something everyone could say they have done or can do. So that is a big check mark in the name next to Peter Berriman.
Yep, tick that one off. Peter Berriman isn't going to get a charge from Umeshima this time by, so that one remains as is. Yoni Tamana on a recovery drive though, Rachel. He's a driver, of course, took a drive-through penalty on lap number 1, had himself a bit of a spin, an off-track excursion, shall we say, down at Tamburello. He's trying to now get past, he's got past Liga Oliveira. That was really easy. Back up into P number 13, but overall, compared to where he started, down 8, but he had a blistering start to this motor race.
Yeah, he certainly has. It's a great race so far for him. Of course, this is the first time these guys have come to this track in competition, and it's really shown to be quite an interesting racetrack. We thought there wouldn't be much passing. Well, we've seen actually quite a bit. It's challenging, it's difficult. It's like a wide open green version of Monaco. It's tight and technical. It's an expressive racetrack. It has character, and the drivers are forced to drive the way the circuit wants rather than forcing it to comply to their cars. And I think that makes for some really incredible racing.
Finland versus UK. Walter Piatella versus Graham Carroll. Gap is 5 tenths of a second. Last time by, Carroll is faster. This time by, Carroll is faster again. Battle for the final step of your podium. Piatella for Korean SimSports. And you know what? I'm going to have to eventually ask Hugo this one, but I can't remember the last time Piatella got himself a podium. Carroll, I don't think he's ever got a podium either. Both of these guys now are fighting for one of the most prestigious titles you can ever have. A podium finisher in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. And well, both of these guys, I think, utterly deserve it, Rach.
Yeah, they really do at this stage. There have been some impressive runs from these guys, but To see them up there, this is awesome. Of course, Kroenke and Hutu in the top 2 spots, but Piatella, Carroll, or Saito, it's possible at this stage. Of course, it's more likely to be between Piatella and Carroll. They are, of course, neck and neck. But for either of these guys to get a podium would be a massive thing. Of course, we saw the great qualifying effort by the driver of... sorry, my brain doesn't like to function sometimes, of course, but that was, of course... Oh, Peter Berryman, incredible from Apex Racing. Oh, running wide there is Martin Piatella, Will. He has lost a lot of momentum there through the final corner. This could be a chance for Carroll.
Yeah, it could well be. On board with Carroll, in towards 1. Does he have the advantage? He's going to get the chance to go to the outside. In towards that first corner, he backs out of it. He knows he wasn't quite close enough. And it's a little bit like Monza here. It's a little bit like some other tracks, where if you get momentum too early, it hurts you more than it actually helps you. I can't do my words either. Hey, but Graham Carroll running himself in P number 4. This is a fantastic little scrap going on right now between 2 different drivers. Graham Carroll is a relative newcomer to the Irish World Championship Grand Prix Series, but many people know him, of course, from his other racing exploits. You've got Marty Piatella, who is a stalwart of this series. He has been running pretty much since the series was created back in 2010. And well, Piatella, yeah, he's had podiums in the past, but it's been a while. Hugo confirms it's been a long while since we've seen Piatella on a podium. Graham Carroll, he's looking to really attack in a very slow run there. That Variante Alta, Rachel, catching a lot of drivers out. Piatella went right over those curbs. Graham Carroll followed him over.
Yeah, he certainly did, and I think, well, I believe Marty Piatella's last podium was, or last win, 2012, I recall.
Yep.
So... it's been a long time, but yeah, very easy move there, or attempted move by Carroll. Piatella, though, holding it firm. It's very easy to defend in that first chicane, of course, running through what used to be the Tamburello corner. Of course, it's Stragado now, and Tamburello turns 2, 3, and 4. It definitely favours the defender over the attacker, which at the end of that DRS rate is a good thing. It doesn't just feed the pass to them and give it to them. They have to work for their meal. Of course, Villeneuve next, and then, of course, to the end of that section we have Tosa. Not a passing opportunity, but it does set you up towards Paratella.
Yeah, and that gap is about 0.6 of a second between those 2 drivers as it stands. We'll keep an eye out on that one, because that is a very close battle. Tomasz Meglek versus Mogar Philo. Again, another 0.6 of a second battle. Last time by, Mogar Philo half a second faster than Meglek there in that TNT racing machine. TNT versus Radicals. It's one of those big battles. These 2 teams battle not only in the World Championship Grand Prix Series, but other forms of motorsports as well. Of course, in the Blancpain Series, we've seen Radicals. We see them racing quite often in endurance racing, these 2 teams together. Also, of course, on Sunday nights and Sunday night skippies. And well, as it stands, Philo is closing very quickly.
Yeah, he certainly is. Catching Tomasz Meglek there in the TNT number 95 car. Mogar Philo, definitely one of the scrappers of this series. Certainly someone to throw a pass and make it stick. He's a little more creative than some, but of course he's being caught by Joni Tomala. So he can't hang around now. He has to make the pass on Meglek. He has to make it stick and pull away. Otherwise, he will fall victim to one of the stars of this year, Will. Honestly, he's had his win. He's had 2 wins, I believe. He's had an incredible series of races. Some heartbreaking errors and moments and things that weren't his fault, but Joni Tomala has to be the star of the season for me so far.
Yeah, indeed, and he's running right now in P13 in that NX racing machine. Down 7 places from where he qualified side by side ahead of him. Meglek versus Philo. No, nothing will happen between those 2 drivers for the time being. But now Tomala is just 2 tenths of a second behind Mogar Philo. Tomala wants the position. He wants the spot, and that NX racing car getting himself some good momentum. We know that these are some of the fastest guys in a straight line. They always have been and always will be. Whatever they do to their setup, we don't know, but it literally is magic for these guys. As it stands right now, Meglek in 11th, Philo in 12th, Tomala in 13th, looking from the rear now of Mogar Philo down into Acque Minerali once again.
Yeah, great run down there through Acque Minerali. Up now towards the Variante Alta. That is that tough third chicane. And then down, the sweeping run down towards Rivazza. And we'll see what these guys can do. It's a 3-car train there. Good run through that section. That's the Variante Alta by Tomasz Meglek. in the TNT car at the front. Behind him it's Philo, behind them Tomala. So we've got 3 T's in a row, different names of course, but TNT, Radicals and Inex. 3 teams that really haven't been those top 2, Will. They have been overshadowed by the teams like Coanda and of course Team Redline, but easy move there by Mogar, Philo and Tomala. So Meglit letting him through.
Yeah, as I am very interested by that one. I mentioned the word fuel saving before. I want to just listen in. He coasts off the noisy pedal. He's not running that noisy pedal full throttle there, Rachel. It's almost as if he wanted those 2 to go past him there.
I think so. I mean, of course, Tomo is definitely running higher than he has been in a while. This race has had quite a high attrition rate. 17 cars in the lead lap from 31, so I think Tomo's playing the I would like to get a safe finish rather than a higher finish game. Thinks possibly the very aggressive drivers of Philo and Tomala might come together, have an issue on the racetrack, so he could gain 2 spots for 1. Which is a tactic I've used myself in the past. If I see someone coming up fast and aggressively, I'll let them go and let them play with somebody else who's going to be more resistant to the idea of being passed, and sometimes that can advantage you in 2 places. So Tomo Meglit playing it, I'd gamble 2 spots for a good finish. He's going to still be in at this stage P13, which is I think one of his best result of the season so far. So sound tactical choice for a driver who knows approaching top 10 will be a hard choice, and he is. Yes, Yoni Tomala got through.
So Tomala back up into P number 11. Easy pass there, past Mogar Philo. And it was worth noting as well, you talked about a higher finish. Well, that is a higher finish right now for the finish driver of Yoni Tomala in that Inex racing machine right now as he heads himself through Villeneuve down towards Tosa once again. So it's a slightly better day than it would have been a couple of laps ago. Of course, Tomala had himself a drive-through penalty earlier in this event. He was one of a number of drivers to have taken drive-through penalties, including the likes of Davy Decor, Jeremy Bouteloup, also Oscar Mangan, Paul Ilbrink, all had to send a penalty. Well, Paul Ilbrink is out of this event. To run through your retirees so far, Ilbrink sat on pit road, but we don't think he's coming back out. Mitchell de Jong, big incident for him, technical glitch. We've also had Andre Borgia out of the event as a consequence. Isaac Price, Michael Dinkle, Alexei Usiakoda, Ollie Packard, Riley Preston and Benjamin Lindsay out of this event. And you want to know why we've got ourselves a fantastic podium battle going on between Piatella and Carroll? It's because of the fact that you've got about 4 or 5 guys that could easily score a podium out of this event. De Jong, previous race winner in the series. Borgia, qualified P2. Yakola, Packard, both previous winners in this series. And what that does, Rachel, is it means for some of these guys, they know they get themselves the opportunity, not of a lifetime, but one that they don't often get. And actually, Piatella's best finish this year has been P5 at Silverstone. He's looking to get himself his first podium in who knows.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and I think he wants that, of course, but as it stands, of course, when you have a lot of drivers who've not been in that spotlight as much as they'd like, drivers who feel like they have something to prove, it certainly makes things more exciting, more interesting, and when it's one spot and 3 or 4 people fighting over it, that's even bigger. So this is great right now, of course. Marty Piatella and Graham Carroll, realistically the 2 that will fight for this unless they fight hard, at which point Yuta Saito could be drawn into this, and Yuta Saito's chance for a podium, that would be massive for that driver. But it's on the cards, it's possible at this stage. I mean, look at some of these names, Will, we have in that top 10. We have Marin S. Kolak, we have Antoine Heglin, Ilkka Haapala, Peter Berryman, Omishima, Saito, Carroll and Piatella. I mean, this is great. You know, we're seeing some different drivers up there. It's a boost for their confidence, their team's confidences, and they deserve it.
And it's a good thing for the series as well, because, you know, without being too controversial, there are times when people get bored of it being red line, Coanda, red line, maybe a Radicals, maybe an NX, maybe an Apex Racing. To have so many non-red line, to have so many non-Coanda Sim Sports drivers up here, it's a good thing for the series. It shows that, once again, this is the most competitive series we have had here in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series in the last 6 years. It's fantastic, not only for this series, but for sim racing overall. Here we go back on board then with Graham Carroll in just one moment's time. There we are. down in towards Ravazza. We're going to do a little bit of Racebot TV fan immersion. Let's go and spin the lap on board with one and only Mr. Graham Carroll. Got to give a shout out to Aussie Greg Hill for these fantastic McLaren MP430 sounds. We've done some math so far. We're saying for Piatella this is his best finish since 2012 at the very earliest, if our math is correct. Now it's time to go through the field now here on Racebot TV, brought to you by And1 Design, the official graphics partner of Racebot TV, and we're going to start, Rachel, out front. Martin Kroenke, he held off the post-pit stop charge there by Gregor Huttu. The lap times, they are closer than they were earlier on, but it looks as though Martin Kroenke is still consistently faster than Gregor Huttu. There's no real battle going on, and with 12 laps to go this time by, Kroenke can almost start easing off that noisy pedal a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit more consistent, keep that car in one piece, make sure he brings the car home. He's in a great spot right now. Tough for him to actually lose that one unless he makes a mistake himself, which is the curse, of course. We might have just cursed him as commentators, but great position for Martin Kroenke. Really a solid race today. When Gregor Huttu challenged him in the lap times, he answered, and that is exactly the sort of thing we need to see from a potential champion. Consistently outperforming the reigning champion.
To then turn our attention back to Gregor Huttu. Huttu today, well, he started in P number 4. Then he was stuck behind Peter Berriman. He got himself one place because of Andre Borch's misfortunes. But Gregor Huttu, Rachel, I am thinking he needs to be more aggressive in the first 10 laps of this motor race.
He certainly did, and we've seen some very aggressive starts to races by Gregor Huttu, and this wasn't one of them. This was quiet, calm and composed, and he needs a bit of that fire he gets when he's in the third row or further back wheel. Fire where he launches off that line like Fernando Alonso and just powers forwards. The guy is notorious for great starts. His starts when he's a little bit further forwards are a little lackluster. This one was incredible, but still just lacked that je ne sais quoi, and it allowed Berriman to go ahead of him. And as I mentioned before the race, if someone like Berriman gets ahead of him, or Tom Ormala, they're going to try and stay there for their ego, to prove to themselves they're better than that. You know, they want to beat Gregor Huttu, so they will be incredibly tough to pass rather than someone who passes regularly. So that was something he fell into. He tried to save fuel. That strategy play didn't work, and well, he's found himself sitting a total of 14.5 seconds back from Kroenke with nothing to really reply with.
Piatella is up 6 places from where he qualified in today's event. He is your second Koana Simsports driver in the field. Last time by, a 120.683 compared to Carroll's 120.742. Piatella's had himself a near flawless race here today, Rachel. He was able to survive all these Koana drivers deciding to do a 99 A1GP race, but for Piatella, he's doing what he needs to do. He's not necessarily the fastest guy on track right now. In fact, in some laps, he's about the 5th fastest driver on track. But that VRS car looking strong, and we know that Piatella is one of the best pure racers in that Commander Sim Sports team.
Yeah, he certainly is. As just seen Martin Crocky passing some lap traffic, but Marty Piatella, that car is faster when it needs to be, Will. And that is when it's coming out of that final corner, when it's coming out of the Rivazza, turn 15, that's when it has to be fast. And he's doing that. And he's definitely getting it right. That is so important. And it's exactly the right sort of timing for him to be in that position. Anywhere else in the lap, it largely doesn't matter as long as he's as fast as Carroll.
Yep, as Carroll is closing once again on the rundown in towards the Tamburello chicane. Not close enough. And I don't even know whether Carroll even used that DRS that last time by. There you can see the gap between P4 and P5 as we have a look now on board with the driver of Graham Carroll. He runs himself in 4th place in this event, Rachel, and he is up a total of 1 place so far in this event. And he's still only 37 seconds behind your race leader. When we consider the fact that there's a huge gap from Cronke to Huta to Piatella, good running by Graham Carroll.
It certainly is, of course, up 1 position there. He's 37 seconds back. But there's a guy who's 44 seconds back from your leader, and that is Yuta Saito, Will, of the Radicals Online. Up 10 places. He qualified 15th, and he is running 5th. Top 5 finish for him would be absolutely massive. Incredible result. Kazuki Yamashima, his countryman and also teammate, up from 11th to 6th. So a great run there. Peter Berriman still hanging on in that top 10. He's in P7, so it will still be a great result for him and the Apex guys. But, oh, Carroll, Saito has just been oh. No, that was, of course, I believe that was lap traffic. That was lap traffic. I believe that was the car of Alex Simpson. Yes, it was. So he's out the way now, but it's a great run, of course, from the Radicals guys. They're having a really great race.
Yeah, they can see Umashima getting himself now past that lap traffic of Alex Simpson. Umashima runs himself in P number 6. He too is up 5 places in this event. Rachel, if I say anything, is that there are times when I make some very, very silly decisions. What did I say at the start of this race? Keep an eye on Umashima, keep an eye on Saito. Guess what they are?
Absolutely, well, they're running in a great position in that top 10.
But Umashima, as I say, last time by 121.025. Faster than Saito by a tad. Faster than Carroll by a bit, but not faster than Piatella, than Hutu, than Martin Cronke. Peter Berriman, well, he's not had the best day here today, Rachel. He's now down into P number 7. But still, he'll be very satisfied by that P3 in qualifying. He'll also be satisfied that he's still running inside of your top 10.
Yeah, he really will. It's a great race for him, and of course, he's proved a lot this race. He held Gregor Hutu up. Well, not held him up, he raced ahead of Hutu and stayed ahead of Hutu on merit. So that's a massive, massive boost for Peter Berriman. It's one he deserves as well. And drivers in his top 10 who've been quiet today, of course, Ilka Happala from 12th to 8th, and Antoine Henglin from 16th to 9th. And Marinez Kolak as well, up from 14th to 10th. So a couple of those drivers inheriting spots and moving their way up from their usual customary middle of the 20s. Or middle of the top 20, I should say. But getting top 10 results is a good one for them as well. Drive for the race for me does have to be Berriman, though. He had a great run at the start of this race. He got a lot of airtime, he got a lot of coverage, and he was holding back the champion. That is an impressive, impressive feat for me.
Let's get down your field a little bit and let's talk about Toman Meglec versus Mogar Philo. Well, Philo got past Rachel, but Meglec's not letting him get away. The gap is still 0.8 of a second. Less than 10 laps to go. These two guys are on the lead lap, but only barely. They may well be lapped by the end of this event, and both race drivers need to bear that one in mind. It's not always a case of whether or not you can close up to the guy ahead of you, it's can you lose less time when the leader comes by.
Yeah, certainly. You don't want to lose any time in those sort of positions, and well, that's the whole thing from multi-class racing. Well, of course, we do cover a lot of that here, and it's as much a racing tool as it is just dealing with the fact that you have traffic. Of course, for the leader, you want to get past quickly. The lap traffic, they want to make sure they get past quickly and in an advantageous spot so they can carry on racing with the people around them, which they are still, of course, in a race. Just because they're a lap down from the leader doesn't mean that race stops for them. It's not as though you get past and pull into the pits and say, right, I'm done. They're still fighting, so you make it easy on the leader, you make it easy on yourself, and you can actually push forward to take advantage in the race.
As you can see, Cronke heading himself now through this fantastic sequence of corners. In fact, we're just going to put the camera on this one because this is a fantastic view down at the Variante Alto, Rachel. You can just see the amount of curb these guys are using.
Yeah, certainly. The curb is absolutely massive there, and I just want to make this clear for people, very anti-alta. That curb is quite a big curb to start with, and then somebody decided it'd be a great idea to put upturned concrete egg boxes on top of them. Those are little pointy crenellations that really mess with your day when you run a tyre across them. It's like trying to drive across those pedestrian area bollards. It's just horrible. And the car's really upset by that. Adding just height to it, of course, which is a big issue.
For the person that said these races are too long, just don't forget, we've got the 6 hours of Watkins Glen coming up soon here on Racesport TV, tuning live as ever on iRacing Live. Will be a part of a Racesport TV doubleheader coming up your way very, very soon. There's Dion Verges. He scored a lap down this event, but still hunting down Danny Garcia-Filo. This is the battle for P number 15 on the racetrack.
It certainly is, and what a great run from him today. Of course, Danny Garcia-Filo is 1 lap down along with Diego Oliveira, but they're having a good race at the moment. Filo is being chased by Dion Verges there in the number 90 car in 16th place. They are getting closer and closer, so we could see a pass there for the top 15 finishing position. That's definitely be trading some merits on those two for those guys, so they want to make sure that happens. But keep your heads in it, of course. Any mistake can let people like Davy Decor and Alex Simpson through. Those two drivers have their own issues from earlier, so we'll not dwell on that one. But yeah, keep an eye on Filiol and, of course, on Verges.
Well, here's 2 battles still going on. Graham Carroll versus Martin Piatella. Gap is down to half a second right now as we go on board with the driver of Graham Carroll. Also worth noting, you've got yourself an old Japanese shootout between Yuta Saito and Kazuki Yamashima. A good run then out of Acra Minerali for Graham Carroll. Go on board of him. We stay on board of him as he comes down into Variante Alta. But it looks as though that Carroll's putting that pressure and Piatella is starting to crack. Maybe, Rachel, he's just overused those tyres and he's now having to play proper defence into Ravatsa they come. Carroll could get the pass here.
He certainly could make a chance of this one. He has to get a good exit, and he's done that all race long, so Piatella has to push hard here. If anything, Carroll is actually holding back a little bit. He's waiting for it to matter. He's going to make this pass when he has to and score that podium. Here's the big run. Here he comes to the outside. Will he make a move? He will go for that on the outside there. Running close deep into that braking zone. Turns across his nose. Oh, that was ever so close. As he will make that pass complete. Graham Carroll up into a podium finishing spot. Will we get a reply from Martin Piatella? We're going to have to find out very shortly. But Will, aggressive cornering there, giving Piatella no option but to back out almost.
Yeah, and you can understand in some ways late in the event you're trying to do something just a little bit more risky, but here's a replay then from our aerial coverage as they come down in towards that first chicane. And roll, Rachel, we really want to have a look at the braking zone here, because this first chicane, you need to have more than one look to really understand. But he goes to the outside, and then you can see just here, he's not fully clear, but he turns into the corner, and he does turn across the driver and Martin Piatella there.
Yeah, he does, and it's almost a faith pass. You know, he will close off that door to the guy he's passing and saying, you've got 2 options, either you back out or you run into me. So he either gets the pass completed or he gets spun out, and it's very brave of him and very, I don't want to say presumptuous, but it's quite an aggressive move. It's not a respectful pass where you've simply taken the right line, but it's not disrespectful either. It's just aggressive. It's very demanding. I will take this position, not I want it.
Meanwhile, Kazuki Yamashima does fight away past Yuta Saito. 2 radical drivers going side by side in towards turn number 1. And that time, Umashima was easily past there. And Yuta Saito's dropping back. I think Rachel tire degradation is one that will become a factor towards the end of this event. As I think we saw Martin Tronke, just before he came on towards pit road, was very sloppy down into Ravatsa. Now, yeah, the second stint, they are generally going to be more easy on their tyres because of the fact they got less fuel on board. But still, I think some of these guys are just pushing this a little bit too hard right now.
Yeah, they really are, of course. We saw a pass earlier on by Dion Verges on Danny Garcia-Filiol. Filiol's passed him back, though, so that's a pass made back there. Those guys are pushing hard. Up here, I don't think this is done yet between Carroll and Piatella. They're still fighting. We could still see a reply from Piatella. He's so close to smelling his best results in years, 4 years' time. He wants this. Carroll, of course, off the back of a podium at Montreal. The guy who wants this more will be Marty Piatella. And do not expect he will not try and take this one. Dropping back a little bit there on the corner. Not going to get past this time by unless he gets a really good run, but there's still 3 laps left. He has plenty of time to make this happen, Will.
4 laps to go in this motor race. Gap comes down to a tenth of a second. It comes down to less. To the outside goes Piatella, but not quite close enough. And this is what I talked about earlier. Momentum on the racetrack, Rachel. Occasionally, you don't want to make the move down into the first chicane. You want to do it into Villeneuve or into Tosa instead. But Martin Piatella gets very, very close, but then pushes into the gravel on the exit of Villeneuve.
Yeah, Piatella's better through Villeneuve. Just a little bit aggressive there, but he is better over the course of most of this infield part of the lap. Carroll definitely good in the latter part, pulling a bit of a gap. The slower corners seem to suit Piatella, the faster corners suiting Carroll, Will. So it's going to be a battle of wits, and will we see a pass somewhere else? Realistically, we've only seen passes coming out of that final corner, running towards turn 1. Is it impossible to pass anywhere else? I don't know. I think we might see something unconventional coming from Piatella before the end of this race.
Maybe down at Ravazza because he gets himself a very good... no, he loses 2 tenths there. Down at the Variante Alto, we'll go back on board then. There'll be 3 laps to go in this motor race as well. Piatella, let's have a listen on board of him for just one moment. Get the speed chart up and let's analyse this one because he's 0.485 seconds on the exit of the corner. He closes tremendously. 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 tenths, 1 tenth. He needs to be 0.3 of a second behind on the exit of Ravazza, and he can get that pass done, Rich.
Yeah, he certainly can. I think it's entirely possible he'll get into that position. Just going to be a matter of time.
Yep, but time is running out. If you're a Muse fan, you know exactly what I mean. Carroll running himself in 3rd, Piatella in 4th. Umeshima has pulled out a bit of a gap now over Yuta Saito. There are your top 8 then. Bottom of your screen. As it stands now, Rachel, 2.5 laps left to go in this motor race.
It certainly is, and it's definitely not enough to get a major error from Martin Kroenke. Going to be Gregor Hutu's day. Can it be Martin Piatella's day, though? That's the question we're asking here in the Racesport TV booth. Can the man who had his last podium in 2012 bring home the bacon here today in Italy against the Englishman Graham Carroll? Will he finish ahead? Will the Finn finish ahead? I'm going to start making more word plays because I like embarrassing myself. But it's a great run from him, of course, and P5 is Omashima, P6 is Yuta Saito. The 2 teammates and countrymen having a great performance, Will.
This is it. That's the gap that we were talking about 3 tenths of a second from Graham Carroll to Piatella. But Piatella loses some time, actually, on the exit of Ravazza. So he's going to be close, but not quite close enough. He's going to look to it. No, he won't. He'll stay where he is for the time being. This could well be a last lap battle between these 2 drivers on the exit of Ravazza. But realistically, Rachel, if you're Martin Piatella, you know you need to do it this lap because you can't necessarily do it unless you can get it coming to the white, and he goes wide again. That's going to cost him a tenth of a second. Piatella's just looking for every opportunity, and I think Carroll's tyres are starting to fade away. They've come to the cliff.
Are. Yeah, Graham Carroll's tyres are starting to fall off that cliff, Will. Martin Piatella is hunting and pressuring him. We could see a mistake from Carroll here rather than a pass by Piatella. Piatella hounding that Apex Racing UK car with everything he's got now. This is a battle of pride. We have the newcomer and we have a veteran. The veteran wants to retain a podium again. He wants to be back on those hallowed steps. The newcomer, he wants to keep visiting those steps, of course. This will be his 2nd time in a row on the podium. He desperately wants to be up there, but can the campaigner do it? Can Martin Piatella find a way through? Can he keep this gap here through the final section of corners? Will he have this run on the final lap?
Well, this is the biggest opportunity, and this is as close as Martin Piatella has been as they come to the white flag. Kroenke's already on the white flag lap. 1 more to go then for these 2 guys. Martin Piatella is going to go to the outside, in towards turn number 1. Battle for position. Piatella will get it easily in towards turn number 1. Piatella breaks Carroll's heart for the time being, but that one is not over yet. Will Carroll try something on the run down into Ravazza? We'll keep an eye on that battle. We'll let you know if anything happens in the final lap of this motor race. But Martin Kroenke has had himself a fantastic day. Hutu almost 20 seconds back. Here comes Martin Kroenke. Martin Kroenke will win round number 9 of the championship. He's no longer a championship contender. He is now a championship favourite. Hutu running on the exit of The Ravazza, couple of corners now. He will come past start finish line and he will claim second place. But the big thing we want to see is this final battle for the final step on the podium.
He's through.
You've got
He's
yourself
through, Will.
Piatella versus Carroll. Piatella got himself that pass, of course, down at turn number 1 this time by. And now, can Graham Carroll do anything in the last couple of corners of this motor race? It will be a drag race to the start finish line potentially between these two drivers.
He's
Who
got it.
will
He
get
wobbled.
it?
He's wobbled.
Be Marty Piatella, who will claim 3rd place. Graham Carroll will claim 4th, and it will be Kazuki Omishima who claims P number 5. Marty Piatella then gets himself the job done over Graham Carroll. Carroll actually looking as though he may have run out of fuel at the very end of this motor race. That's a story worth talking about afterwards. Umeshima in 5th due to Saito in 6th. Then Berman, Happala, Heglin, and Yodi Tamada round out your top 10 here today. Last driver on the lead lap, that is Marin S. Kolak as he comes past the start finish line right about now. There's you can see some of the guys just finishing their laps here at Imola, but it's been a fantastic race for one person, a dominant race for one person. It was the fantastic Martin Kroenke, who claims victory by almost 20 seconds over Gregor Hutu. And I say it again, he's no longer a championship contender. He survived the month of May. He survived the month of June. He is now a championship favourite. And here's the reason why. After the summer break, Kroenke over the last 3 years has been better than Gregor Hutu statistically. Gregor Hutu now needs to find some magic, and he's not been able to do so the last couple of years. Martin Kroenke is officially in the catbird seat. Martin Kroenke, Rachel, is a championship favourite.
Yeah, certainly is. Martin Kroenke with a great run through the series at the moment, and he's in a brilliant position now. It all rests on him. He's not the one trying to claw his way towards Gregor Hutu. Hutu is clawing his way towards him. Will the second time we change car in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series be the second time that a Coanda VRS driver wins the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series?
Well, let's get a look then, ladies and gentlemen, at your final race results here from Imola. And again, Martin Kroenke shows that he is the man to beat this year for Coanda Sim Sports. 18.9 seconds ahead of Gregor Hutu. Marty Piatella in 3rd. Graham Carroll in 4th. Kazuki Omishima rounds out your top 5. Then it's Saito, Berriman, Happala, Heglin, and Tamala rounding out your top 10. It's interesting to note, we've still got a variety of teams, still got a variety of drivers, and we said earlier on in this race broadcast, part of the reason for that is because of the retirees that we'll come to in just one moment's time. Behind, Maris Kolak then beats out Mogar Philo. Philo is the first driver one lap down. Only 11 drivers finishing on the lead lap here today. Meglick in 13th, Danny Garcia, Philo in 14th, then Vergis, Oliveira, DeCorbs, Simpson, Mangan, and Friscop. They are your top 20. But this is the page that shows some of the reasons why there's some drivers who we normally see in the top 5 getting top 5s, and that's because Yakola's out, Pakala is out, Borcher is out, De Jong is out. Some big fails by some of these drivers here today. Let's not take anything away, though, from Piatella and from Graham Carroll, because they've both done superb races. They survived lap number 1, they got themselves through the field, and they avoided the drama. That is important to note. When you get yourself a podium finish or a top 5 in this series, it's because you did it on the racetrack. And then you can see the final part of our results. Well, Benjamin Lindsay, unfortunately, classified down in P number 31 here today. Let's step aside for one moment, ladies and gentlemen. We'll come back with some post-race coverage and analysis after these messages. You're watching Racebot TV on iRacing Live. Martin Kroenke is now in a position that no driver has been in since 2011. He enters the summer break as a championship leader, and he now has a chance to go and charge for his first ever iRacing World Championship. He won today in dominant fashion over Gregor Hutu, and yeah, there's some storylines. Maybe Berman may have held Hutu up early in the race, but when it came down to it, after pit stops, every time Hutu tried to push, Kroenke had an answer. He was dominant in qualifying. He was the fastest guy on the racetrack time and time again. He wins out here today, and he's with us now live on Racesport TV and on iRacing Live. Martin Kroenke, what a run you have had again here today. Can we now finally say that you're the championship favourite for 2016?
I wouldn't go so far, to be honest. Still a couple of races to go. That's race 9 now, so there's still a good bit to go. And the way the point system works right now, I wouldn't say that I'm a favourite as of now. Still very open.
But you just won the race by 18.9 seconds over Gregor Hutu. I mean, talk us through that event itself, because qualifying for yourself here today, you qualified a quarter of a second ahead of anyone else. That's something we don't normally see in this series anymore. You dominated the first stint, and then every time Hutu tried to do a fast lap, you responded. How much were you actually pushing here today?
I was pretty much pushing all the time, really. I think a large part of the gap actually is down to Gregor being held up a little bit in the first stint. I don't think that the gap really increased all that much once he got past. So I would assume that Peter Bergman probably held Gregor up a little bit, or maybe a large bit, actually. And yeah, after that, I think that the gap was pretty much constant. I think I had 17 point something before pit stops, now 18.9 at the race end, so in the second stint was pretty much even.
Now, one of the things we were just talking about before we brought you into the booth was the fact that over the last couple of years, you have scored more points than any other driver after the summer break. Now, we go to a myriad of tracks once again. When we come back from the summer break, we start at Twin Ring Motegi. Momentum, I always talk about being a big factor in this series. How confident are you going into that summer break, and when you come back, Koana can continue the dominant charge they've had as of late? Yeah, you didn't win Watkins Glen. We know that's Hutuville. But apart from that, you guys have been very strong in the last couple of races, and it seems to be that the issues that you had at the start of the season, you kind of recovered from.
Yeah, we definitely recovered from those. I think we have found what it takes to make the car go fast over more than just 10 laps. In terms of confidence for the next couple of races, and pretty much the rest of the season, I think the strong tracks for us are yet to come. I think if you look at the tracks like Koda, Suzuka, probably also Twin Ring Motegi and Okayama, those are usually strong tracks for us. So now that we got most of the tracks where we usually struggle, especially Silverstone, already out of the way, I think we have a pretty decent chance of finishing well in the last couple of races.
Well, Martin, before we let you go, would you like to give a message to your fans, to your sponsors?
Yeah, obviously, a huge thanks again to the team. Couldn't have done that without them. The setup preparation was excellent this time around, and pretty much as good as the last couple of races. And also a huge thank you to our sponsors, to Virtual Racing School, to EC Sim Hardware, to Joel Real Timing, Antwin Design, and also a big shout out to you guys for providing a quality broadcast.
Thank you very much. And proof once again, ladies and gentlemen, a Racesport TV sticker makes your car faster. It's guaranteed. And Rachel, interesting to hear that from Martin, because he said that he doesn't see himself as a championship favourite, but they're going to some of the tracks that they feel they are stronger at historically. I think that means that they're a championship favourite.
I think that's an attitude he has to have, of course. If he starts thinking of himself as a championship favourite now, then he opens himself up to mistakes and errors and disappointment. If he keeps seeing himself and the team keeps seeing themselves in the way they have been for every race up until now, then they're going to carry on performing as they are now. Do not change your expectations. Do not change your results. They will look after themselves.
I think back to a very famous advert that McLaren once said. Don't be satisfied with yesterday. Choose the right equipment, use it the right way, refuse to compromise, because you can expect to succeed. And start again. Every single race, start again. Rachel Whitefoot stood by now with Gregor Hutu. He came home P number 2 in this event, almost 20 seconds behind the driver of Martin Kroenke. Rachel, take it away.
Great race for you today, of course, Gregor. Coming home second was still good points in the championship. But that gap between yourself and Martin Kroenke is widening narrowly as we progress through the races. You, of course, were stuck behind Peter Berman for a number of laps. Are you consistently running more low fuel runs at the moment than you have been in the past? Were you saving fuel? Why did you pass on lap 14?
I actually focused a bit more on the race for this one, so I think I had pretty good pace in the race, but yeah, I mean the race was lost on the first stint, and basically in qualifying I got 2 bad laps, and yeah, that was basically it. But yeah, just lucky or happy to do the race, because I had thunder rolling in just as qualifying started, so I was a bit worried about doing the race. But yeah, okay result in the end, second place. Got past Peter in the end, and then it was just a case of kind of lapping fast and keeping it on the road.
Of course, you are the defending champion, as you have been for the last 4 or 5 years. Your gap to Martin Kroenke isn't widening by large margins. It's not as though one of you or the other is not finishing races. You're consistently finishing 1 and 2. What can you do to change this around, and how can you start to get more points behind you? Is this time for Team Redline to focus on you and your defense of your title and try and put more of their strengths behind getting more of your teammates up around you to almost play tail gunner against Martin Kroenke?
I don't know. I mean, I know the other guys are pretty busy, so it's kind of tough, and I haven't had the most or the best preparation for the last couple of races, so I don't know. We just have to improve a little bit, find a bit more pace, and I think then we can fight for the wins again. Still 7 races to go, I think, so still every chance to go for it.
Well, many races still to go and plenty of points still to gain. Good luck, Gregor, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks very much to Gregor Hutu, the driver who came home in P number 3 here today was Marty Piatella. Marty, we were racking our brains the last time you got yourself a podium in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. What a day by you here.
Which race was that? So far my best was P5 ever. Never been on the podium, so I'm quite happy about this.
So Hugo didn't look hard enough there. Congratulations on your first podium in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. Have a round of applause. There we are.
Thanks.
So yeah, your race today. I mean, of course, there was a little bit of argy-bargy with yourself and a couple of other people at the start of the event. You saw, of course, 2 of your teammates going out of the race. You got P3 here, but you had a fantastic scrap with Graham Carroll. Just talk us through that.
Well, first of all, to start, I got pretty nicely off the line, but I don't know what happened then. There were 2 Apex guys basically going right where I was going and then slowing down, so obviously something weird happened there. Yeah, I don't know if Andre had some damage or what early on in the race, and then obviously Mitchell had some misfortunes with his connection, and I'm unlucky that at least I survived that, because I think we nearly took each other out there. But yeah, that's internet for racing this time. But yeah, then the rest of the race, I knew that I had pretty good pace against the Apex guys. And yeah, I think I pitted a couple of laps later than Graham, and I knew at that point that I had the pace to overtake him, and which I did, and to be honest, it wasn't that difficult. But what I was surprised at was how closely and easily he was able to follow me, and I guess I just got a bit nervous in the final laps and kind of made a mistake and couldn't defend him. He made a brilliant pass to turn 1, but I kind of took that favor back in the last lap.
Well, you get yourself your first podium. You're now into the summer break. Koanda Team Sports looking as if they are stronger than Redline in terms of the championship. You must feel so proud to be a part of this team right now.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you can hear, but I'm just. I don't know enough in English to kind of tell what what I'm feeling at the moment. All the guys have done absolutely astonishing work. Obviously, it's awesome to see Martin finishing the races on the highest spot. But I mean, every one of us has at the moment a chance to be up here. We saw in qualifying Andre taking second position, and Mitchell he had immense hardware issues this race, and he still kind of pulled off that kind of pace, which is phenomenal. And yeah, it's just so amazing what we've been able to achieve this season.
Well, if you can't do the words in English, how about you say some messages to your fans in Finnish?
Ei tässä vissiin kiroilla saa, mutta aivan tajuttoman hienoa päästä kolmanneksi. No, onhan tätä tullut tahkottua useampi vuosi, mutta ei ole ikinä niinku podiumille asti päässyt. Et kyllä tästä täytyy niinku tiimikavereita kiittää ja Pesuettakin tietysti, että ne kestää näitä meikäläisen harjoituksia sun muuta. Ja vielä äitille terveisiä, toivottavasti kattoo, olipahan hyvä kisa.
Kiitos, Martti Piatella there in the third place. Graham Carroll comes home in fourth. Graham, that close to another podium, that close to a podium here in the World Championship Grand Prix Series, but at the same time, oh so far. What a great battle we've had going on. Yourself, Martti Piatella, talk us through your day.
To be fair, battling with Marty with the setup they've got on that car at the minute and staying with him and managing to get by him, and I'm just over the moon with that, to be fair. Like he said, he caught me. I didn't hold him up at all. I thought I'd just tag onto the back of him, use his DRS and save a bit of energy, and the pace they had and the way the car was set up was just, my car was rubbish compared to theirs, you know, so to hang on to him and to get by him, and to be fair, that last lap coming out the last corner, I had no energy whatsoever, you know. It was just like, see you later, Marty. But to be fair, it was third. I had a bad start. One of the Koanda cars sort of got in the way at the start and had to slam on the anchors before turn one and lost a few spots. So to be in third and to be up there again in fourth and stuff, I'm absolutely ecstatic. To be fair, we're going in the right direction. I think the last 4 results have been in the top 10, so if we can just keep going like that, you know, I'm really pleased, to be fair.
No, it's interesting because at the start of the season it seemed to be that Inex Racing had the better of Apex and Radicals and Orion. It's flip-flopped over the course of this season, and now we're in a position that you guys are consistently there or thereabouts with some of the Koanda drivers, and your team is right there really in qualifying and in the races as the third best team in the series. That surely must be something to think about positively as you head yourself into the summer break.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I said, when we came for the Pro Series, a bunch of us, we jumped into this car and we've just slowly crawled back towards the front, and we're a wee bit off Martin, that's just understandable, a wee bit off Gregor, but to still be getting the podiums and top 5s all the time, like you say, no, that's awesome, and there's some hard work being put into it, and it'll carry on the same, to be fair. But yeah, we're getting there, and we've sort of got ahead of Yoni's and a few other ones, but we need to find something that just clicks in that setup, you know, to be just that extra wee bit ahead. But for now, we're all the teams moving forward, and really pleased with how it's going. Well,
congratulations on 4th place. Before we let you go, anyone who you'd like to thank, your sponsors, your team?
Yep. Apex, the Academy, obviously, Simputers, Leo Bodnar, JCL, Elite Driver Services, and just Apex as a team, you know, the effort they put in, and it's awesome. So all the guys, and hopefully we can do the same next in 2 weeks' time.
Well done, Graham Carroll. It won't be in 2 weeks' time. We get a summer break, honest. But Rachel,
oh, nice.
Next 2 races in this series are going to be on the famous Japanese racetracks. They're going to be at Twinrin Motegi and Taiadia, also known as Okayama. Now, this is a track, and we haven't seen Jake Sturgios here. Happy birthday, Jake Sturgios. That Jake almost made iRacing history a year ago. Is it going to be an NX Racing track? Or are we going to see a surprise? Or are we going to see Martin Kroenke continue his dominant charge of this season?
I think the way things are going at the moment, we're going to see Martin Kroenke continue this streak with Gregor Huttu hot on his trail. I don't think the next quite continued the trend they had going, so maybe not, but we know with Okayama it's tight, it's a short lap, anything can happen there, mistakes can be made. If anything, that's what Gregor Huttu needs right now, is a good, honest mistake from Martin Kroenke. Will history be made? I'm not sure.
Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of our coverage here today on Racesport TV and on iRacing Live. We've seen some fantastic battles in the first ever World Championship event at the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari at Simona, of course. Next time we go out to a track called Twin Motegi, a track developed by Honda, of course, who provide the engines for the virtual McLaren MP430s. It's a track that once saw history in 2008 in IndyCar, when a female driver became the first ever to win a top-level open-wheel series event. It's one where we almost saw Jake Sturgis make World Championship history. Again, happy birthday to Jake Sturgis. Congratulations to Martin Kroenke. And well, as we enter the summer break, there are plenty of questions that we need to ask. Plenty more that we need to answer. But what we know is that Kroenke is now, as it stands, your presumptive world champion if he can just continue doing what he has done over the last couple of races. Before we go, we want to give you the points tally as it stands. And we know that Martin Kroenke is leading the championship. He's leading it now by over Gregor Huttu, who's in second. Ollie Packard, of course, had a miserable day here today. But Martin Kroenke has 327 points. Gregor Huttu has 309. Ollie Packard 248. Yuta Saito is now up into fourth with 225 points. Yoni Tamara drops to P number 5. Ladies and gentlemen, this is now officially a 2-horse race. Congratulations to then Martin Kroenke once again. And also thank you to all the fans watching around the world. 4 races tomorrow on Racesport TV. We've got the Finnish Sim Racing Championship. We've got Formula Renault Sundays. We've then also got ourselves 2K action and the iAdvance Indy Elite Series. 4 races, 1 home. Your home of open wheel racing. That is Racesport TV. From Rachel Whiteford and Hugo Louise, I've been Will Vincent. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a Racesport TV presentation of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series on Racesport TV and on iRacing Live. And we will talk to you all next time. Bye-bye. He's typing! He's typing! He's got it! He's got